Hey, welcome everybody. It's Colin. From Talking Ball. I haven't done a show in forever. I almost overslept and missed this one today, but welcome in everybody. Glad to have y'all here. Looks like we've got two of my favorite guests. We've got Adrian from Spurs Diehards. Let me get your link pulled up, Adrian. We can have that at the same time that you're here. So Adrian's link is right down there, everybody. You can catch him at Spurs Diehards, TTID. There is the link down below. And then we've got Dan the man. Daniel, what's up with you, buddy?
Yeah, big up, Colin. Good to see you, mate, and always good to see you as well, Adrian, mate.
Big up, Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah, all good. You've been
good
good,
to see
Colin,
you
though, yeah?
guys.
I ain't seen you in a while, man.
Yeah, I'm good, man. Been working
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah. How's the
But
new job going? Is it all right?
yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's kind of hard sometimes, but it's fun. It's never boring, and they pay me more money now, so
That's,
that's always
that's
that's
all that
always
matters at
good.
the end of the day, innit?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
it's
big up, mate, big up.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. Well, guys, I haven't talked to you either of you in quite a while. But Spurs played last night. We actually had some of our players back, and I thought it didn't look too bad. And I guess we'll kind of go around in a circle here, but
Is it
yeah.
is it boiling over in America, mate?
No, it's actually not. It's a nice. Let me do some. I got to do some conversions from Fahrenheit to centigrade real quick, but
It
um,
just looks like it looks like you're a bit sweaty. I'm just thinking like it looks like you're a bit hot now. Thinking that maybe it's a bit too hot in America.
no.
We're getting some pretty weird. We're
My
getting some pretty
office is
weird weather over.
upstairs.
We get some pretty weird weather in England. One day it's nice and warm in the morning, then the rest of the day it's cold, like typical British weather.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm upstairs. This office used to be an attic, so it gets kind of hot for sure. So that
Cool,
does
mate.
explain the sweatiness. Please excuse my sweatiness here.
That's cool,
But yeah,
mate.
it's about 21 degrees today outside, so not too bad. Not too bad. What do you guys got over there weather-wise before we get started?
Probably about eight, probably about 7 or 8 or something like that. Probably on
Yikes.
the. It's about 14 or 15 some days last week, but that's for me. That's like a hot day to us. It's like we're probably getting our summer now, and in July and August it'll probably be winter weather. So we might as well enjoy it now because this is probably our summer.
Break out your t-shirts and your shorts and go run around outside. Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, big
Um,
up.
But yeah, so Adrian, we'll start with you, my man. Just real quick thoughts. I mean, I think we looked a lot better, with a lot of the players back. And gasp, who would have thought, that having your important players would make a difference. Just if you had to sum up last night's match in just a couple sentences, what do you have to say?
It was a good performance, and the difference was VDV and Romero being back in the team, and they're getting up to their match sharpness, and which makes a difference because we've won more games when those two have been at the centre of our back four.
Yeah, you put somebody there who's not an 18-year-old kid playing out of position, and we suddenly look a lot better, look a lot more, resolute in the back. Dan, I'll ask you the same question, man, and we'll get further into it. But yeah, what did you think? Just a real brief, kind of
The first
synopsis.
word, the first word I'll say that comes to mind is relief. That's the first one I'm going to say because I'm just happy that we're in the next round to start off with. Because basically, if you think about it, yesterday, that last 45 minutes was pretty much a season-defining game yesterday. Like if Alkmaar had gone on and got that second goal before we got the third, then our season would have been pretty much over at that point. Other than basically playing for positions in the league, so I'm glad that for Spurs fans, we've still got that motivation going into the rest of the season. So that's the first step of it. The second step, like I was more impressed with BVD yesterday than I was Romero. I'm not going to lie. I think Romero's a bit sloppy sometimes still. It might be because of him getting up to speed. But there's one. I'm not going to make this like my thoughts on that. I'm not going to make this an ad bash or anything like that because there's one thing I feel like he might have got a little bit wrong yesterday. I think he should have brought Van Den off about the 70th, 75th minute. I don't know if he was doing that because he was a bit too worried about only making him last 60, and that was obviously the plan. But I feel like the game was still a bit in the air. Still, it was only still one goal, and I feel like I think he thought the game was a bit more sewn up than what it was, and I feel like he made the subs a look. Usually, I'm one of the ones who says he makes the subs a bit too later, but I feel like this time he might have made it a little bit too early. Like he brought Gray on like the 60th. It was the 61st minute.
Yeah, right about there.
You can't. You can't. One thing you can't do in any sort of format, any person, I don't care. If anyone's got to do do not like Ange. I don't want him here. You cannot blame that goal on Ange. The goal that he conceded. I'm sorry, that is a human error here by Bergvall and Odegaard. Getting in each other's. That's basically more on Bergvall than it is Odegaard. You cannot blame one single person on this planet can blame that goal on a system error by Ange. That goal output score. We won the ball back. There was 4 people around the ball. There was hardly any output players. They should all know how to communicate out of that situation. And then get that ball either back to the goalkeeper without no problems. So, I mean, I don't even understand how professional football players can mess that up and let that get through to an output player through 1-on-1 and goal. So that was definitely not on a structural problem. That was just on an individual moment of lapse and concentration error where we conceded the goal. The third goal, that was quality play, man. I'll have to pick up the third goal because the third goal was really, really good football. If you can't pick up the third goal,
the flick was beautiful. Yeah, the whole thing was great. But
it was a perfect team play goal. If you can't pick up the third goal, like I said, the third goal was nice football and it was good football, then I don't really understand what people were watching. That was a good goal, the third goal, man.
Right. If you can't say something nice about that, then you just can't say anything nice at all. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my motto about it. That's my motto about it. You can't say anything nice about that goal when it actually was a great goal to watch. Good team play. Then you do sort of hold an agenda against anything this guy's doing because that was a really nice goal. That was good play, good football, and it was a good way. It was literally the perfect team goal, that third goal.
It was beautiful. And then Madison in the interview after the game said that they had kind of trained that was something that they had done on the training ground before, like almost exactly. And I thought that was really cool. Adrian, you're the one that posted those interviews that I saw. So thanks for posting all those interviews in the WhatsApp. I appreciate that. The one with Madison, the one with Van de Ven, and then the one with the man himself, Ange. Those were the 3 I watched at least. You might have posted more, but thanks for that. And real quick, I want to say hey to Quez. Quez, he's in the house. Big up, Quez. Good to see you. Long time no see. Gonna start doing this stuff more often. So it's good to be back. Good to have you back. And then I also wanted to throw up this. This is the link to Jose's channel, El Tel Cockerel. He's gonna have a show in roughly 2 hours. It's his weekly prediction show. So if you take part in that, go and continue taking part. And if you haven't taken part, it's never too late to begin. So you can jump in today, and he would love to have you. So guys, if you're here, if you're watching this and you haven't already subbed to El Tel Cockerel, go and do that, and then watch his show today. It happens again in 2 hours from now. And what time does that make it in the UK?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Of course it is. That's when he always did the show.
Last week. I got how many points I get last week? 6 points, I think.
I had a mare, and then I didn't turn any in, so I got 0 points.
Bro,
but
I only got 6 more points than you, and you didn't even do any fixtures. And I've done 14 games. So,
oh man, when you put it that way, when you put it that way, yeah. But hey, it happens, man. It happens. But shoot, guys. So I mean, one thing I wanted to talk about was this man, Wilson Odegaard. I think that he's looking to be a phenomenal player. Real quick, before we jump in too much into like in-game analysis and breaking down the game, I think that, Brennan Johnson's got to watch out. I think his spot might be up for grabs. I think we all saw how good he was coming off the bench, and when he had that dry spell, and then we were bringing him in off the bench and he was scoring off the bench. You guys remember his I think he scored 5 and 5 as a sub, something like that. So yeah, I think that Odegaard might be making a case for starting out on the right. But Adrian, I wondered if you agreed with that, my man.
Well, a bit of background on the youngster. I mean, he came from PSG Academy. He went to Burnley when Vincent Kompany was there. And Vincent Kompany eulogised about him, right? And at the time he left, by the time of the Euros, his stats were equal to Nico Williams. Obviously, Kompany's moved on to Bayern Munich. We've seen it a lot. We've seen it a lot of our youngsters. You get these players that they get very hyped up at a young age. So, show us what you've got, basically. But what I've noticed about him in a few, and it's still early, it's still a small sample, right? He has got quick feet. I mean, Sonny's got very quick feet, and Sonny was outstanding yesterday. I give Madison man of the match over Sonny, but and Bergvall was outstanding. There was about 5 really outstanding performances yesterday, and He has got quick feet, and he's not frightened to take his man on. Obviously, it's
That's
time
the
and
thing,
vision, and it's the side you're on to him, because if a player's a bit too much further forward than you, the winger then turns to turn back and come back and cut in. You know, and as fans, we always hate that. We want them getting down at the byline, but the point is, sort of getting the byline and put a cross in if someone's in the box. I mean, so like, yeah. No, but he looks. You can see he's got good technique. He showed it through the game with some of the ball control, with the balls he's receiving and things like that. He's got superb technique, and he's fast, and he can dribble. So there's no reason why he shouldn't be a big hit, in my opinion.
I fully agree. I love the kid. He's the closest thing to an out-and-out winger that I think we've got. We've got so many players I would consider wide forwards, but Odeberg is so close, or much closer to the traditional winger, and we've needed that. And he showed what he could do last night. I was very happy for him. Dan, what did you think of Wilson's performance?
Yeah, it was good, mate. Especially since you went for the debut yesterday, wasn't it? I think that's what I was saying.
I believe so.
Full European debut. Well, I'll come from this sort of way. If you look at it now, like the way we play, how many goals are our right wingers scoring from popping up in the box at the back post and that sort of areas? It's obviously saying we obviously look at more. We obviously look at more going down the left side, and it's more that the right wingers then find themselves in a position where they can pop up the back post here. So like, it seems to be a system that is obviously favours the right wingers getting goals in this system. Like obviously where it ends up like, because obviously the way we're playing now, I was not impressed with Spence in the first half yesterday. I'm not going to lie, but the second half I really was. Like in the first half, it was a couple of times where we won the ball, and we were defending, and then someone would win the ball and then get passed back to Spence. And instead of it was quite like a risk, like a pass to someone on the wing, like trying to get the ball out, and he'd lose the ball a couple of times. But so it's like he's sloppy passing a bit in the first half. But the second half here, he's overlapping. So like someone's coming, like someone basically get the ball, would come in and then basically wait for Spence to always overlap. He was doing that like 2 or 3 times, yeah, and the Spence every single time was getting the run spot on. I think that's how the second, I think that was our Madison's goal come. Well, no, Madison. It's how the third goal come, definitely. By Spence obviously overlap basically. Spence to me looks much more better on the left side than he does the right side. So it sounds mad because he started as a right back. And for some reason, it's come a point now where, like, since he's come on that left side as well, I feel like Son obviously he's not going to start running down the wing, taking people. He's always going to look to come in on his side onto his right foot, yeah. And then someone like so, I feel like the right winger is always going to be favoured in this system as well. So like just about Brennan Johnson to me, mate, for his goals that he scored and his assists, I don't want to be harsh on him there. He does not offer a lot as a footballer on the pitch, man. Other than his goals and his assists. If you actually look at his all-round play on the football pitch, it does lack a lot. He doesn't give enough protection to Porro at times. So he leaves Porro exposed for a start. So that's why when you notice when Porro and Jen Johnson play together. Sorry, mate.
On that though, I mean, I was pointing out the guy next to me, sitting next to me yesterday at the game, and I said to him, look where our wingers are. And Johnson went on the pitch, and it was exactly the same. You had Sonny parked on the left touchline, and you had Odeberg parked on the right. And to me, that has to be tactical. They're told to stay there, and they might be told to stay up. I know people get on Johnson's case. I mean, he's got 14 goals with this. I still think it's tactical. All I'll say to you, and I'll tell you, watch it in future Spurs games when you see it, because I just think they're just told to stay there to keep opponent, keep defenders busy.
Yeah, when he's told to stay there, then fair enough, mate. At the end of the day, if he's told to stay there by the boss, and that's part of it, and that's part of how we're going to play, then I can't really blame Johnson.
I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you. Then, okay, fine footballer, but you should have a football IQ and a brain. I mean, Bergvall's got a fantastic
100%,
right? So when we are struggling in games, well, I know you've been told to stay out there, but get fucking back and help out, right? You know what I mean? Like, so
I understand. 100% what you mean. Like I said, there's sometimes when you're in a game when sometimes in the manager's instructions you get told, sometimes you have to use your own initiative and think I'm going to have to drop back here a bit and help Porro. Because Porro's struggling here, and then getting exposed a little bit at times. Yeah? So
and we see Kulu drop back and help. Kulu's great about that. You talk about the positions of our wingers. I feel like Kulu sort of gets a pass. He's not he's not exactly a winger. And whenever we have him play out there, he plays sort of a different role than the rest of our wingers. You know, I'd say the way that we have our right winger play when it's Kulu is much different than if it's Brennan Johnson or if it's Wilson Odobert. So,
and another thing, I mean, on the left, Maddison plays central, he drifts left. So if you've got your Doggy or Spence at left back and Son on left wing, the link between those three is excellent, right? And Sonny's better when he's running on the ball like at Ipswich when Gray put him through or Bentancur put the through pass through him, right? Not when he's got his back to goal and he's got to either go on the half turn to beat the player or pass back, which most of the wingers do because it's the easiest option, right? It's the safest ball, right? On the right-hand side, you know it's like a season ago or whatever. They're like Porro and Kulusevski, like you alluded to earlier, Dan, they would get overloads down the right. But because Porro cuts in there, he does invert. I've always argued that Udogie doesn't invert, rarely. He might occasionally, but it's rare, right? Porro looks to get in. I think he fancies himself as an attacker and a goal, and he's got superb technique. But you're not getting the overloads with Johnson on the right. So I think he's been like left out of certain plays when Porro should actually play him in.
It's an interesting thought. Yeah. That's a really good point. And again, though, I think a lot of that, I don't want to say it's by design, but I think with the type of player that Porro is, we need him up the pitch. We need him to be joining in the attack. So I don't fault him for that in any type of way. But it does leave us a bit exposed. But
his passing's been a bit wayward recently, Porro. I've noticed that. Like sometimes, it's been very. Yeah, it's been very wayward. Like sometimes he's giving away cheap possessions. Sometimes, especially in the middle of the pitch over the last a few games, I've noticed it as well. I'm starting to get a bit worried about him, even with the
he is brave, Dan, isn't he? He does try things. Yeah. He is brave. He
does try things. Yeah.
Big up Quez and Phil actually in the chat.
Well, Phil's here. What up, Phil? Good to see you, buddy.
Sometimes I'd rather my players be at least attempting stuff instead of like just going into their shells or not doing anything. So these Porros trying to make stuff happen for us at times. But he's one of the only players in the team who can really put a decent cross to the ball in. If you actually think about it, like there's not really a lot of players in our team who can really put like decent crosses in 8 times out of 10. He's at least one of the players that can do it. But it's just
I don't mind players taking a risk in the final third, and we don't take enough risks in the final third.
Yeah, we don't.
We're first to putting a cross in the ball, as if players are more concerned about what their stats look like at the end of the game if they lose the ball or not. You know, I mean, I know it's getting a bit cynical, really, but
I think you should, like, when you put a cross in, you shouldn't always like you said. When you put a cross in, you shouldn't always think like, it's going to go to someone's head. You should just think like anything can happen when you put this cross into the box. Sometimes, you can cause mayhem. You can cause absolute madness. The defender you have to make the defender have to do so. When you put a cross in the box, and sometimes they're facing their own goal, that's a defender's nightmare. They do not want to defend them sort of crosses when they're facing their own goal and they have to make a decision. You're going to get a touch, and they can go to their own goal. It can literally slice off their foot or go anywhere. It's like, sometimes you have to just put a cross in there. Sometimes, not obviously just aim it in there, no hope. But sometimes you have to give the defender something to think about. And sometimes I feel like we're tippy, a bit too predictable at times. Sometimes a bit too slow at times. Where sometimes we need to mix up a little bit more in matches. If we mix up a little bit more in matches, then teams will struggle a bit more over the 90 minutes up to play against us. I just feel like at times we're a bit too like tippy tappy, and it's a bit too slow at times. And it allows teams to get their shape back a lot of the times as well.
Well, if they ever break shape in the first place, we have so many teams that just know if they sit most of their men behind the ball, then they don't have to do a lot of work.
The third goal is a perfect example. Like if you can play the football decent, and you can see like the good rewards of it.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah, man. And what I have this banner down here, but I was thinking this kind of led me into a point I wanted to make. We look so much better with an actual center forward. With a player that can hold up the ball, get other players involved. Just Tell is a great player. I think Tell actually is gonna maybe go on to do well for us.
I think I got it wrong. I think I got it wrong about Tell. I think I come on about a month and a half ago when we signed him in January. I got hyped. I got overhyped about him a bit too early, and I thought, I'm coming on here saying to you, Colin, I think he's going to be a really good signing in that year. I'm not impressed. I'm not going to lie, bro. I'm not impressed one bit, mate. And I don't think Ange is either.
Why did Ange insist on playing him?
He's not even got off the bench the last 2 games. I think Ange has realised. I think Ange has given up on him as well. I think Ange has got Solanke back now as well. Yeah, he's putting Odobert and Son on both the wings, yeah, and Tell hasn't even got a minute of football the last 2 matches. I'm sitting there thinking now, I think, what game was it? What game was it when he got subbed off at half time? Was it the Alkmaar game? Away in the Europa League. That's the last time he played any minutes for us. That's the last time he played any minutes for us, yeah? And that was the only substitute that Ange made at half time. Was he took Tell off, he didn't make another substitute until the 70th minute. I think he got so pissed off with Tell's performance in that first half, yeah? He's really peed him off to a point where he's going to have to have to do a lot to get himself. He's only in 4 or 5 months.
But I can see him being used, like Fulham away, probably wouldn't start.
Yeah.
But then you've got to look at the hour mark and Sonny, and you've got the hour mark with Odegaard again, because they're young players, and it's asking a lot to run hard So I could see Tell coming on and be given half hour against Fulham, and I can see Sonny or Odegaard be taken off after an hour mark as well. Like, you know, you got to look.
I think on the left he could do. I think he could be important. I think he could be important for us on the left. I think he's much more of a left-sided forward than he is a center forward. And I think that Ange putting him in as center forward was a really strange decision. I would have rather had Dane Scarlett, I think. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got more of the build and the profile.
But
I mean, out striker as well, playing up front. Don't make sense. It's a bit worrying for Scarlett. If like just a little period, like, and he couldn't even like earn himself a start during this little period where like we didn't have no striker for a little period where Solanke was out, and obviously Richarlison was out. We didn't have an out-and-out striker. He's decided to put the left winger, right winger / Tell over Scarlett, who's an out-and-out striker. I know Scarlett might not score every single game, but I would at least given him a game during this little period. You know what I mean? That out-and-out striker. Like, it's a bit worrying for Scarlett. If he's thinking like Scarlett said, like, I can't even get a game during this little period.
I mean, people have been in Scarlett because Lancashire got 23 goals for the under-21s last year, over 30 in all competitions. Now he's out on loan. I want him back in the squad beginning of next season with Donnelly and Vaskovic, but that's another conversation. But Scarlett, I see Scarlett as a 17-year-old. He's only 20. He always scores when he goes away from England, right? And you'll remember, apart from the goal he got against Elfsberg, right? You'll remember the goal he got against Shakhtar Donetsk when Kane scored 4 and he got the 5th goal, the swivel and turn in the box.
I
watched him play. I question a lot of these comments about our young players. I mean, I'm watching the game tonight before our show goes out because we've got one Spurs player. Our under-21s are playing Blackburn, I think. You got all right, Josh. Right.
What's up, Josh? Hey, buddy.
Big up, Josh.
I mean, I watched him play when he's 17. And when you got 22 youngsters, and our academy is crap, then, right? We're talking
Dane right now, right? Just want to make sure we're
okay.
Scarlett.
And you know when you get one player that really stands out, slippery and troublesome for the opposition, he was the best player of all the 22 players on that field, by far the best. I don't know if he'll have a career at Spurs. I don't know. He didn't get no game time at Ipswich, so then they lose in a year of their development when they do that, or they lose them. But I'll tell you what, the kid will have a good football career, whether it's with Spurs or not. And I'm confident of that because he's a good finisher.
He is, and he's improved parts of his game. I think he's bulked up when he needed to, so I think he could probably better handle the physicality. And speaking of that, I think that we need that physical presence in an Ange team for Ange ball to work.
He's bulked up as well. He has bulked up a bit as well.
Yeah, he really has. He really has. And real quick, Josh, everybody, Josh is here. Josh, what's up, buddy? How's it going?
Good, all good, mate. All good. It's a holiday here, so wishing everyone a happy holiday. It's here.
You too, my friend. Yeah, happy holiday, bro. Yeah.
Everyone doing?
Doing good. We're talking a bit about the match last night, of course. And I was bringing up the point that I think that having Solanke in was huge. I think that we were really struggling with Tell as our center forward. I don't think he's an actual center forward. He can't do a lot of the things that a center forward needs to do in this system, which basically amounts to holding the ball up and getting other players involved. And then we kind of got on to why was Tell being picked over Dane Scarlett? Just wanted to know if you had any thoughts on that, my man.
Look, I'll tell you what. I'll start off with number one. I think the attack. If you look at Tottenham's attack in general, okay, you give our best front three. Okay, in my opinion, Kulusevski plays as the cam. Okay, or even if you do want to play him as a right wing for this instance, you have Dominic Solanke, who is the best player out of the three. If the front three is Johnson, Solanke, and Son, if that's the front three, Solanke is the best one. Son, whether fans want to agree with this or not, he is not at it anymore. He's just going down. Yes, he has the moments here and there, but he's just going down. And then
he had a good match last night. You can't say, but he had a good match last night. You know,
that's a moment. That's a moment. And with all due respect to AZ Alkmaar, it is Alkmaar, and every player in that Tottenham team should be stepping up. Now, I think we was missing Solanke the most out of any injured player because he is the focal point of that attack. You know, you look at Tell, for example. He's young. He's got energy. He doesn't have the same aura, you can say, as Solanke has in terms of bringing the players up to pressure. And that's the key element for Atleti's ball, is that attackers create a kind of fall to press the ball. And with Solanke, he provides that because he's experienced, he's got the pace, he's got the energy, and he has this kind of aura that it makes Son, it makes Johnson or Tell or Kulusevski, whoever that third person is, to help press. Now, I think when we look at the attack, I want to talk for a second about that attack against AZ Alkmaar. It was ruthless. It was ruthless. Whether you like it or not, Johnson didn't play. It was Wilson Odobert, and he provides a similar aspect to what Johnson provides. The only difference here is that Wilson Odobert contributes to the game plan more than Johnson, and we've been crying out for someone like Johnson, someone who will be getting up with the goals, but someone who will also contribute to the game much more. So I think in regards to Solanke, I'm so happy he's back, and it's only up from here with him.
For sure.
Well, Jost, he got 2 assists yesterday, Solanke.
Yeah.
That's his role. He's not exactly a goal scorer, and he never will be, you know. But
it was Son's press that got it. All right, it was a bit of a lucky rebound to Solanke, but you earn that right. You earn that piece of luck, which has deserted us for weeks and months with injuries and all that, by actually making the press. And Son made the press. You know, I'd give Son 8 out of 10 yesterday, but I'd give Maddison a 9 for his game yesterday. But we had quite a few outstanding.
We'll get to man of the match in just a second. Don't worry about that. But guys, David Clark is in the chat, and he's got a lot to say. I want to get some of David's comments up real quick. He said, I played as a winger on both flanks for 20 years out of his 26-year football career. You played for a while, buddy. Your body lasted longer than mine. Sorry, these Spurs wingers can't even do the basics. Before the point of release, you lift your head. Basics. And then he goes on to say, our wingers don't even lift their heads to see what target they're aiming to pick out. Instead, it's head down and hit and hope. That's why most crosses go astray. And then finally, he says, also, when you take on your fullback, your first physical action is to lift the ball 4 inches off the ground. Because when the fullback attempts to tackle, the ball is lifted above his foot. Basics. Interesting stuff.
Son always looks up. He's always looking up, because when he stops with the ball, if he's not going to go dribbling past man, he's always looking up a place. Maddison loves him for that. Loves him. He's commented about it yesterday, and on other times I've seen him comment on it. So, but with a fan base, if Sonny's not scoring goals, suddenly he's rubbish and he needs to be binned, you know. But His contribution yesterday, he was involved in everything going forward. Link play was good. I mean,
and he occupies defenders. Defenders, which is a huge thing.
It's the standards, though, isn't it? It's the standards that Son is set for himself by certain Spurs fans. Yeah, and we sort of expect him to be our go-to guy. Like, I'm one of Son. You know, Connor, I'm one of Sonny's biggest fans. Like, but if you look at when I started to see like a gradual decline, obviously, in like from what Son was, that's natural. He's 32, 33 now. You're not going to see this Son like it's going to be like this. The sort of way we play doesn't sort of like suit like completely like house like Son's best attribute really, and Son's best attribute really is getting in behind still. And then like being like one-on-one on goal, like I don't feel like when you're playing out on the left wing, you're asking to like play possession-based football. You're not going to get. So you're going to see like certain parts of his game where he doesn't always like shine in certain games. But he's still Son. He's still going to supply with like. He's still going to supply with big moments. He's still our most big moment player in our team. When you look at the team, I know people like. I'm starting to say we're seeing like the decline in Son, but I still want Son to be in our team. Still, like, I don't want to obviously
Yeah.
You're looking at someone like, if I go around to, like, we get to like the Europa League final in like May time, you're gonna look around to your players and like, who do you feel like who's confident who might step up at that moment to win the Europa League final? I look at someone like Sonny and someone like Solanke, and I look at them players, or like Kulu, it's the players who will step up for us potentially in that final. That's what I'm saying to her. So, but we are obviously we are seeing a bit of a decline in some because of the standards he set from what we see 6 or 7 years ago. I can see why some Spurs fans obviously, you know what I mean, it's a bit hard for them to stomach the not the decline, but to stomach that he ain't the same Sonny anymore. I think that's what they're finding hard.
The thing with the quality players are they'll always pull something out. Now, I'll admit, Son hasn't been looked as good on the eye test this season, but he's got 11 goals and 10 assists. So if you can do that and you're not looking good, for a wide player, they have good numbers. I know it's all competitions, but still good numbers. I mean, Johnson, 14 goals, 3 assists. You know, and he's not just
that many goals.
He's not just a
I don't think that many goals, Johnson, man.
Yeah, it's wild. They go under the radar, you know, since he's not a super flashy player. I feel like it's kind of easy to. But it sounds rude, but it's easy to forget him sometimes.
The fact that, I mean, Aaron Lennon was talking in an interview the other day, and I see a bit of Odegaard. And funny Solomon Leeds as well.
Yes,
they've got
absolutely.
Aaron Lennon about them, the pair
of them. Yes.
And when like Aaron Lennon was talking, he said before Gareth Bale came to the club, he went, I was always like, 2 of the opposing defenders was always like man up on me all the time. He said, but when we got Bale, they didn't know what to do because now that we've got 2 of us on that. So like, and this is what you want from Odegaard or Tell as well, or whoever's playing on the wings, you know, whether it's Sonny and one winger, this is what you want. You want the opposition, because our front three has been very clunky this season. It's not really, it's not been fluid, it's not fired properly. It did earlier on before the injuries, but and it's just and the last couple of games, and just looking about, the teams just seem to looking a bit sharper and fresher in games now, you know.
Big up Ryan.
Big up Ryan. Yes, always with the kind words. Glad to be back, Ryan. Going to be doing this a lot more regularly now. Words are hard.
I just wanted to say about Tell 1 second, Colin, mate, as well, because obviously I think I've got a lot of heat the last couple of weeks because obviously been criticising him to the point where I think people think I've got an agenda on him. I said he's only got 3 or 4 months to basically earn himself a Spurs contract here. This is why I've got like a bit more on his case than other players, because everyone's like, oh, give him time. We signed him on February the 2nd, yeah? Mm-hmm. To a season that basically ends on, say we get to Europa League final, the season finishes on May the 25th. So he's got just over 3 months to basically show a reason why we're going to spend £50 million on this guy. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm getting a bit on his case a bit more, because I'm not really seeing any signs to say, well, we're going to spend £50 million on this guy, and he's just going to end up back at Bayern Munich in the summer. That's why I'm trying to tell Spurs fans. I want to start seeing some signs that's going to show me that we're going to sign him permanently. Because if we're just going to say, oh, let's keep giving him time, well, no, in 8 or 9, 10 games time, he's getting back at Bayern Munich after his loan spell's finished. So I don't really understand what Spurs fans say.
And by the time he's got to do it in the next month, because in about 3.5 weeks before we play Eintracht Frankfurt, Kula will be back. So he's another one for we might end up on that right wing if needed, although fans want him as a number 10. So we're getting back to a fit squad. And, I mean, look, he doesn't do it.
I think people think I'm going mad at Tell. I think people are going mad at Tell. They think, oh, he's just criticising another player. My motive, always whenever I criticise a player for Spurs, because I always want them to be good for this football club. At the end of the day, that's the main motto. So if I'm saying, Tell isn't playing good, because I want to see enough signs to sign him permanently. I want this player to be a good player for our club. So I want to see some signs that showed me a reason why we're going to potentially spend £50 million on this guy in potentially May. So that's why I'm telling people, like, oh, I want to see some signs. I want to, and they're like, oh, give him time. I'm like, well, it's nearly March already. He's going to be finishing the season in like 2 months' time. If we don't start seeing some signs, then he's just going to pop up back at he's just going to be like a lone spell like Dan Juma.
Do you think he was brought in solely as cover? Do you think that we brought him in with any intention of signing him permanently, or do you think it was?
I'm not sure, because it made it sound like apparently the Bayern Munich were quite insistent about doing this deal with us, because obviously for the pain thing, I'm not. And apparently Spurs were the ones who were quite insistent about putting the buy option in. Apparently Spurs wanted the deal done with a buy option, and so did Bayern Munich as well. Both clubs wanted a buy option in the deal. Yeah, so it made Spurs not willing to do the loan deal without the buy option. Apparently that was the reason why it sort of went a bit swaying in the end. Apparently people said, "Oh, Spurs were going to do the deal without the loan." Apparently the buy option was always on the cards, and Spurs wanted the buy option in the deal to make sure the loans obviously had any chance of going through. So it makes me think they also
it's a no-brainer, isn't it? It's a no-brainer. I mean, like, if you don't perform, he goes back. It's quite simple. Levy pushed the deal because I reckon Langham struggled to get it over the line. His stats as a young player are mental, but it doesn't mean to say he's going to kick on. You know, at the moment, I mean, it was a nice outside of the foot goal he scored against Villa in the cup from the from the Decky cross. So we know we wouldn't have got him even on a loan if he wasn't a very talented player. So he is. But can he do it in the Premier League? Well, plenty of quality players have come to this league and failed.
Yeah.
So we don't know. It's too small a sample. And like fans will do it. I mean, remember when Decky come? He had 2 cameos, 15, 20 minutes. Everyone said he was rubbish, right? This is what the fan base is like, or a section of fan base. And then we go away to Man City. On his full debut, Sonny squares it to him and he buries it in the net, right? And last season, he admitted it weren't his best season by far. This season, he's got lots of goals and lots of assists. I think it's about 10 each or something like that. And like he's looked our best player, but worn out. So this
When's
injury,
he back? When's he back?
He'll be back in 3 weeks probably. This injury, or even after the international break, this injury would do him the world of good because he gets a chance to rest his body, in my opinion.
I mean, that's a good point. I kind of expected him to be back already. I don't know if I misinterpreted the original prognosis. Danzo's hurt as well. But I couldn't tell you what type of injury he's got. I don't think that – I'm not sure how much – is it a hamstring? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's why some Spurs fans start getting a bit worried about starting to say, "Oh, look, it's a hamstring injury." The reason why Spurs fans are getting a bit like over the top about it, I can understand it. He's come to the club in 6 weeks, and this space of 6 weeks already got a hamstring injury. So I can see why some Spurs fans are like, "Bomb hamstring," and they've sort of gone to that and said, "Oh, look." So, but you notice as soon as we get one player back, it just seems to be the luck we've had this season. I've noticed it. As soon as we get one player, like Cole, our centre backs back, then one will get injured again. But basically, we had who did we have? Van der Ven and Romero injured at one stage, and Ben Davis injured. Then we had Dragic and Gray playing for us. Then as soon as we signed Danzo, Dragic got an ACL injury, and as soon as Van der Ven and Romero come back, then Danzo got a hamstring injury. You notice the luck we've had this season is actually quite mad.
I think what happens is.
Do you think with Danzo that this is his one's probably caused by his having to adapt to the pace of the Premier League?
Yeah, it might be. But
I was gonna say it's also the fact that we don't get to rest people. We don't have enough players so that we can adequately, swap and make sure the players are getting rest.
Because you got Davis and Gray to Romero and
now we can. But when Danzo first came, he had to play every single game.
Have to play a vital player, basically come straight away, become a vital player straight away in the first 4 or 5 days at the football club. Not usually when you're a new sign at a football club, you're usually eased in sometime. He become one of our senior centre-backs the moment he signed for the football club because he was one of our only fit senior centre-backs at the time, innit? So Dan's become basically the part that was keeping our defence together. So we might have put the extra pressure on him a bit too early during that little period where he's coming up into the new league, adjusted into the. He has played in this Premier League before. It was only 7 games in Southampton, and it wasn't really a good spell. So he was more like a sub about 4 or 5 years ago. But so he's used to the pace of the Premier League a little bit, but obviously not used to maybe playing in our system. And we're asking to go straight away, and then he's basically our senior centre back because all the other ones have got basically injured. But he was playing with Archie for a little bit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Him and Archie.
Yeah.
So he's like, I like Archie playing there, but Archie's still young, You've got to guide him through some of these games because he's still 18, 19 years old, and it's not his natural position. The Danzo's obviously they happen to come straight into the team, be the senior centre-back, while also still guide Archie along the games as well. Obviously, so I'm not saying it's an excuse, but we just put a bit too much pressure on him a bit too early straight away to be.
I would agree. Yeah.
Well, Danzo's homegrown because he was at Reading and he was at Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes.
He had a season at Southampton, and then COVID comes, so then he went off. But he had to make a choice between football or rugby, He's a bit of a
He's
a physical presence as well.
Yeah, he's definitely
And
done
he
well
looks-
the last 4 or 5 years.
For the price, he
Since
looks a good
Southampton,
buy. He looks a good buy.
yes,
I wouldn't
since he left
fight him.
Southampton, yeah, since he left Southampton, he's definitely career has definitely gone up another level. Because when he was at Southampton, like last I think it was a flop in the Premier League. Since he's gone abroad, I think Germany or France, wherever he's played, and since he's established himself into the Austrian national team, he's become a much more accomplished and much more better central defender. Like in the Euros, he's one of Austria's best players. In the Euros just gone. That's why I watched more
And
than
like,
in the Euros. That's why.
What makes me laugh is all the BS you get with the transfer rumour. I mean, like you've got Romero, VDV, Danso, right, Dragusin, Gray, Davies. That's 6, and that's without bringing Vuskovic should walk
I do
into
too.
the squad next season, right?
They've
That's
got
7.
Dragusin.
So even if Romero and Dragusin were to go, if you didn't fancy him, Dragusin
I think Romero's
started
going,
and he fell off. He fell off the pace, but. There's a player in Dragusin. He's still a kid. He's only 22. Played well for Romania. He's not. He's not
going to go anywhere. Dragusin ain't going anywhere for the next 12 months, mate. Because he's got a torn ACL injury. So like, no one's going to. I look at where you're looking now. I think Romero's definitely gone. I think Romero's going in. I don't think he's going to go in the side because of the Dragusin ACL injury. But I think if you look at it now, we've got Danso who can play on that side. We've got Dragusin who can play on that side. We've signed 2 centre backs who can basically play the right centre back position. Yeah, since basically it tells me since all this Real Madrid talk about a year ago started coming out. Yeah, we've signed 2 centre backs. Yeah, on his side during that time.
Starting quality centre backs, in my opinion, too. Yeah. So it does look like he's going to go.
When they're all fit, only one can play on that side out of 3. Danso, Dragusin, and Romero. Yeah, it does make you think. Yeah, that we're going to take the 60-70 million pound for Romero, which maybe makes sense. And then build our team potentially around like a Danso or a Dragusin on that right side.
It might not be
the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it might not be as easy as that for Romero. He's down to 2 years on his contract in the summer. So if he didn't sign a contract, I'd say sell him. But the market's still in a period of deflation in Europe and over here, right? Now, who can afford to buy him? All right, Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, and that's probably it. Even the Italian clubs like Juventus are not paying 60-70 million pound for players now. They haven't got the money.
Not a defender at least.
He might have the options he wants. See if he wanted. Now we know that Romero, he loves Ange, so I think that's a good point. But you've got to look at it this way as well. Real Madrid are going to be interested in Saliba and other younger centre backs. So you don't know. And the same with PSG. Have got a good squad anyway. So have Barcelona. So you don't know. I mean, they tend to go for the more, if they're forking out money, it tends to be more for the sexy midfielder or attacker than it does for a defender. And you're not getting Romero. Like, he's won a World Cup and two Copa Americas. So he might stay, because the only reason I reckon Lloris stayed as long as he did was because he was a World Cup winner. I don't think Romero's that desperate. Obviously, he wants to win as many trophies as he can in his career, but I don't think he's that desperate to leave Spurs. I think he's quite happy at the club. But we'll see how it all pans out. But we've got enough centre-backs. So when we look with Gueye, I mean, I'd like David Henko at final because he can play at left-back as well as left centre-back. But
it's always nice to have a player like that to play multiple positions.
If Romero only if Romero was to go, because I don't want a pathway blocked to Vuskovic. He's been playing out of his skin. He went
exactly. I was going to ask you what you thought his role was going to be next season. If you thought he was going to get any first team action.
To the Polish league, he stepped up. To the Belgian league, he stepped up again. 7 goals in 20. He's not the quickest, apparently.
No.
But I've loaned him out to the Premier League team, mate, straight away. As soon as we get him next summer, I've loaned him out straight like a Crystal Palace, like a team like that. And keep that little period he's got, like where he's playing games, yeah. And it's like maybe I want to see what it's like a year in the Premier League at another team, like, and then because there's a lot of hype around this kid. Obviously, he's playing like Belgium and Poland at the moment. He's a goal-scoring centre-back.
We don't know if Ange is going to be manager next season.
Yeah,
it's very hard to call it. I mean,
yeah.
I'll win his Europa League from the beginning of the season. I hope he wins it and keeps his job. I remember saying
to you, Colin, last summer though, yeah, about Yamin Hook when we signed him. People said, oh, he's going to go straight into the Spurs team. I said, no, he's not. I said, because no South Korea player, I said, he'll come straight from the South Korean league, yeah, and it's established straight into the Premier League without going to either another league first or having some sort of experience first. So I knew that Yamin Hook, yeah, was not going to get thrown into the deep end straight away. So when people said I was coming in January, he might play, I always knew he was going to go out on loan. So I knew that was going to keep it up. Basically, you can sort of establish yourself first before you make your way into the team sort of thing.
Yeah, I had forgotten. To be honest, I had completely forgotten about him with just all the action we've had.
Some people like I've said, we've got this new player. Like he might play straight away. I said nah, because he's look at it. Parky Son, yeah, played in Holland first before he comes to England for PSV. Yeah, him and Son, yeah, went from South Korea to Germany to Hamburg. Yeah, spent a lot of years in Hamburg, and then went to Bayer Leverkusen, and then went to Tottenham. Yeah, it's very hard. Even Lee Young-Koo played for Spurs. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, played at PSV before he went to Tottenham. Every single player who comes from the Asian league, from like South Korea, any South Korean player who plays well in this league, yeah, they usually establish themselves first in another league before they come to the Premier League. So I was like, and he was only 18 years old, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this kid might get played straight away." I was like, "There's no chance he's getting played straight away." We brought him over a little bit earlier so he could get used to the surroundings, and his loan spell at QPR is going quite decent at the moment. I think he hasn't scored, but he's getting minutes, and he's just got himself in the South Korea team.
He's looking good. The little bits that I've seen from him at QPR, he looks like the most technical player on the pitch most of the time. You know,
and that's what helps out. This will make him stronger. Playing minutes in the Championship, mate. You can't ask for a much more rougher league, yeah, much more tougher league sometimes. But be a man, yeah, when you're 18 years old and playing Championship football as your first loan, as your first experience in English football, that's a good experience for him as well. And he stays in London as well, so he can stay in like good connection with the Spurs coaches. I'd rather my younger players stay at London clubs personally. So when people said about like who's the ones at Leighton Orient, you've got Josh Keeley and Donnelly at Leighton Orient, yeah. If you keep the ones who are quite close to you, you can keep a close like communication about how their time's going at Leighton Orient. You can also come back to the training ground 2-3 times a week as well. So like you're saying about who was it? I can't remember what I was saying about. I said about Donnelly next year. Next year, if he goes, he definitely needs a Championship loan next year, Donnelly.
I'd like to see him brought into the squad as well. I mean, the ones I would
I maybe see like
give him more games. Donnelly.
I might loan him out to like a QPR next season, something like that. Again. Maybe loan him out to QPR next season, keep him around London, yeah. Watch him do well with the Championship, because this guy, I'm looking at all the players now, and like I've seen, he's naturally, man, he's a very good footballer, man. It was a quick moment to take that City goal, but the way he took that City goal, I went down as an own goal. But you've got to have a good IQ, have a good football IQ, yeah, so you can try and attack that, man. And then Donnelly's got that. You can tell Donnelly's got that on the pitch.
Oh, he's got a great defence splitting pass.
Great football IQ, mate. You can tell as well. His football IQ, you can tell.
Yeah, he came from Northern Ireland as a striker, and credit to Wayne Burnett, who's done a fantastic job with the under-21s. He's ex-Blackburn player, I think, Burnett, and he converted him to a number 10, and he has got that through ball, that defence splitting slide rule pass. He's just got that. I mean, that is rare in a lot of players. It doesn't always come off, but I mean, I'd like to see him brought in, into the squad. So, I mean, and I'd like to see Lancashire brought into the squad with Donnelly as well next season. So you got more as well.
How's Lancashire doing at West Brom? How's he doing at West Brom?
He's not really getting sort of game time. He has had some minutes and all that. Other players are doing really well. I mean, like George Abbott is doing so well at Notts County. I mean, he was captain of the under-18s, coming the under-21s captain. He's still only about 18, 19, I think. So, and he's like
crackers this year, really.
Defensive midfielder, and he can play as a striker. Yeah. And then you've got Craig Matthews, is it Mansfield? Like I say, Alfie Devine, who lost a season at Plymouth when they changed managers when Phillips was there.
That's always a risk you take with loans. That's why I'm sort of hesitant to loan out players, because it's a good question.
There should be some incentive with these loans. If you say to the team they're going to, like, Scarlett not getting time at Oxford last year, right? You say to the team when you loan them out, okay, if you play him, we'll pay you more. Pay the wages for that game. Or if you play a half, we'll pay half his wages, right? Or something like that. There's got to be some way, at least, because they come begging for players to strengthen their squads and they don't play them. I mean, at least like Vaskovic and Devine. I mean, Vaskovic, he got a 9 in the last game he played for the West. He's been moved about, and we paid about 16 mil for him when he was at Ajax.
So you're gonna
a lot of money.
Have an example here, agent. So like basically said about Vaskovic, yeah. So like say he comes back in the summer, and then we got him and Ashley Phillips back at the club in the summer. Which one are you loaning out? You're only getting a choose out of one of them.
Well, I would loan out Phillips. I think Vaskovic.
You don't have Phillips again. That's what I'm saying. So we're just going to pretend, because basically what we've done the last 2 or 3 years is that's what I'm saying. Like, we're just going to keep loaning out. I want to, but maybe give. I'm not saying obviously give Vaskovic Phillips a chance over Vaskovic, but the thing is, like, to put Vaskovic straight to the queue, front of the queue over Phillips, it means we're potentially playing down his chance of development as well, Phillips, by just sending him out.
And we might have to, because if we don't get European football, we'll have 8 less games to play. Right?
No, I understand that. Yeah.
You're talking about in an alternate reality where we're not going to win the Europa League.
That would affect our transfer dealings, because players want European football. The better quality players do. And actually, I don't look at that as a negative if we weren't to win it, because to me that means, well, now your younger players get a chance of playing games if you can't bring players in. It's a question of how many you want to bring in, and will those players affect the pathway of the academy players? Like,
you're a glass half full kind of guy, Adrian. I like that about you.
On that, man, yeah. But I've watched a lot of these youngsters. I'll be like Blackburn. We're playing Blackburn, so before our show goes out tonight, I'll watch that on Spurs play. The under-21s. They're not having a very good season because
so many of their great players have been
loaned out, which is what you want.
Absolutely. All right, so guys,
that shows the good signs sometimes. If you're under 21s isn't doing so good, sometimes that sort of shows a sign that a lot of them either make a step up, or a lot of them are out on loan spells, and sometimes it's better for your future to get into the first team instead of just doing it in the under 21s leagues and actually going out and getting experience. So sometimes
fully agree. Yeah.
And it's not though we shouldn't have money, because if you said we got 100 mil to spend it in the summer, right? Then you've got to look at what we're going to get for Richarlison. They want 40. Then you've got Basuma.
Yeah, I heard that as well. 40 million. We're not getting 40.
Well, okay, but we don't know. That's what the club want. So if say they got
2025.
No, more than that. People.
Yeah,
look, it's not a question of quality so much, Dan. It's a question of how many number 9s are out there. Chelsea haven't even got one.
He's never available.
One. There's a dearth of them. You'd get 40 million easy from Saudi America.
He's never available though, Adrian, mate. Last 2 years, he's barely been. I spoke to Everton fans the other day. This is how I know his stock has dropped off like quite a lot in valuation. Everton fans love Richarlison, yeah.
Oh yeah, they were all about him.
Do you remember? Yeah. They've spent basically the last 2 or 3 years saying they're taking back any opportunity they got. And I asked them about a week ago, yeah, because obviously things are going really good at Everton now, aren't they? With Moyes, and they've got new owners now. I said, and I spoke to an Everton fan channel. I spoke to an Everton fans. I asked them general opinion. I said, if we offered you Richarlison back for £35 million in the summer, yeah, would you take him? And they turned around to me and said no. And I was like, what? And I said to them, well, you love Richarlison. I said no, not because we don't rate him, not because we don't love the player. It's because we know he's struggling with injury problems. Availability is their best ability. Yeah, you can pay £100 million. You can pay 100 pence. You can pay £200 million. You can pay 200 pence. Yeah, if they ain't available to get on the pitch, yeah, it don't matter how much you pay. Availability is their best ability. And Richarlison, the last 15 months, how many times has he been available?
The availability is the best ability. I get that.
It is.
Hold on. Then. Well, then to just come back at, is availability the best ability when you've got a fit Werner on the bench then?
Oh, mate.
No, it isn't.
Right.
I know.
Man, the Werner hate always comes out. It always comes out.
You got to stop using Werner to prove you're wrong on everything. All right. I'll take that one back, and just on that occasion on Werner. Maybe it's not it, but
well, on that, I mean, like, okay, give me a rough figure then. If you're selling Richarlison, Basuma, Gill, Solomon, how much you getting bringing in to add to that 100 million a summer?
Well, that was 4 of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4.
Solomon, Gill, Richarlison. Who was the other one you said? Basuma.
Basuma's going. I'm not sure how much we're going to get for him either, but he's definitely going.
Anymore, mate. I don't know what sort of price tag we'll get for Basuma now, like, because I don't know. We didn't really buy him for that much. It was like, how much is it? 25?
25, I think, is about what we paid. 27.
And it's not like his stocks have gone up at all, like the last year or 15 months.
Now. I think you're going to get 15 to 20 mil from it.
Yeah, I reckon about 12 to 15 million pounds to get for Basuma.
No,
more
than that.
I reckon Richarlison, I reckon Richarlison, I reckon you can get, if you can go back to like, if you maybe sell for Saudi club, you can potentially get 40. I think if you sell to like an Everton, Everton potentially would only pay like a 25 million pound for him now. Potentially, where like you could have got like a year ago if he was still.
Right, say David Clark's right. Say you get 15 for him, right?
Yeah, let's go conservative. Let's say 15. Yeah.
Basuma,
More reasonable. Yeah.
27, 28, 15 again.
Okay. Yeah.
I
That's
think it-
30. What you getting for Gill? 5, 10 mil? He's playing well out there.
I think you could get at least 10 for him.
I think
All right, say
From a
5,
Spanish club.
35 mil.
from a Spanish club making
And then,
sense.
okay, 35 mil. Then Solomon, who's smashing it at Leeds.
I'd like
I
Solomon
can
back.
go up.
Can we just bring
I
him
can at
back?
least go up. I can at least go up, and I reckon it all works out the way it is. I reckon we're going to get at least 20 million for Solomon from Leeds in the summer.
Right, so you're talking 55 mil then with those 4 players conservatively to add probably 100 mil transfer key, right? That's enough to strengthen us. That's enough to pay wages to encourage people to come. If we've got 150 mil to spend, so, and we've averaged that because since that stadium opened, before Ange came in, we spent like 685 mil on 29 players, and by God, we bought some crap, didn't we? Some rubbish in here. And the last recent transfer windows, we still spent we spent more, but it's not the next. We spent about 400 mil.
About that.
We've failed better. We spent about
20 million,
1.2 billion on players since that stadium's open. 1.2 billion, right? And we failed much better in a transfer window recently. So, and may that continue.
Well,
Paratici back now is banned.
Exactly. I was going to pull up Jose's comment. Jose said, "Bring back Paratici," and I fully agree. And you're right. His band's up. And Jose and I actually had a conversation about this. I think it was yesterday. I gave him a call. But yeah, he reckons we should get him back in as an official employee of the club and no longer a consultant.
I heard a rumor that apparently he might be going back to Italy, and apparently he's in talks with other Premier League clubs as well. So not just Tottenham who have been talking to him.
I know, and
Other Premier League clubs have been talking to him as well. When his ban finishes, so we don't have all this bit where we've got a clear path of Paratici. We don't have this clear path of Paratici anymore. There's obviously other clubs out there who potentially like this guy as well, and he does fancy potentially maybe going back to Italy. This is what's been
he's from there. I get it. Be close to your family and everything.
I would more favour to him going. So I would more favour to the side of him probably returning to Italy and then come back to Tottenham. But personally, Paratici is the guy that we need to get back. Then personally, because of the connections he had in Italy for a start. For a start, you trying to go for our squad. We've hardly got a bad player from the Italian league, have we? But Doge, obviously, some of them have dropped off their form. Doge's dropped off a bit recently. The Caro's been quality. Romero's been quality over the years. Who else have we got from the Italian league? Bentancur, Kulusevski. Paratici is literally the only one who was pretty crap for the Italian league. Who we got was that Chiellini. And he barely played any games with it, the goalkeeper. When Paratici first come, he played like 2 or 3 times in the cup matches. But basically, every single player Paratici's got from the Italian league, he's got for cheap. And it's gone straight into our first 11.
We don't know how up and up the deals were. I don't know if there was any sketchiness with the deals, but we did.
With Levy, isn't he? So I mean, it doesn't really matter if he comes and joins us back as a paid consultant or paid,
regular employee
football, and they sack Lang or whatever. Levy's still going to be on the phone to him when we need a player in a certain position. So who can you recommend? There's still going to be.
He built up a good connection with Levy. You can tell Paratici. Levy looks at Paratici as one of his trusted guys to go to. He wouldn't surprise me if Paratici did end up back at Tottenham.
They both love a deal. It makes sense to me that they would like each other.
You get the reason why Levy's likes him because he saved us millions, tens of millions in the transfer market. So Levy will love him.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I got us way off track real quick. So let's go back to last night. Let's time travel back to last night. And we talked a bit about this, but were there any players that you thought struggled last night?
I thought the fullback struggled a bit first half.
Yeah, I did as well.
But yeah, I mean they were the ones. I thought Porro a couple of stray passes. He's just not on point. He tries things like that crossfield ball for the goal against the last home game as well, which got cut out, and when Kirkes run down the field for Bournemouth and scored, he was probably their man of the match, Kirkes, but yeah, I thought the fullback struggled. We know that Udoggy didn't have a proper pre-season when he started because he's coming up with that injury and was thrown in because we didn't have a left back before Spence, started coming in and doing so well. He's been poor all season. He's come back, give him a bit more, and he is a tank down at left. And I like you, Doggy. I do like him, and he'll get his mojo back because he's just the physical presence is what he gives you there, like as well, height as well. So no, it'll come good, but it's like we're waiting because we've had such a crap league season. We're waiting for him to come good. No, I'd only be critical of the fullbacks yesterday. In the other game, I was glad to see Vicario kicking the ball long in the last 10 minutes. I was very critical against Bournemouth because this is when players get excited and don't get a grey matter between the ears working their football IQ. Against Bournemouth, it's his distribution at time. He's a good kicker. He's good. He's very good. But other times he throws the ball out. We just like defended a corner. We've got the ball. It's like a goal kick. You throw the ball out and we ain't even set. All our players are clustered together. We're not even set. What are you doing? Hang on to it. Even yesterday, towards the end of the last game, I thought, there's 10 minutes to go. Slow the game down. Don't start kicking the ball out. Risk that yellow card. Slow the game down.
Yeah.
Game management needs to be better.
He's just come back into the side again. Sorry, Dan. Go on, Dan.
The game management at times needs to be better. Sometimes in the match, sometimes where you need to know sometimes when to just slow the game down, and sometimes when to obviously. That's what I feel like yesterday. Like with a performance-wise, I feel like Spence was a bit shaky, a bit rusty in the first half of his passing. I feel like Porro was not good at all in the first half of his passing. He lost the ball quite a few times, but I feel like the second half Spence definitely improved. I'm going to go through players who I wasn't really impressed with yesterday. I didn't really notice they had a great game. I'll say it's probably Papenstad. Personally, yeah. I'll say at the midfield, I'll say Bergvall. Bergvall was starting to look every more game he plays. Yeah, he's starting. I can see the signs why everyone picked him up when he comes from Sweden. Yeah, and I was one of the first people who said, I'm not seeing. I want to see him ready first. I can see why people picked him up, yeah, because he looks a decent player. He's 18 years old, yeah, and he's not shying away from putting tackles in, yeah, and being one of our focal points in the field. Madison really impressed me yesterday. Really impressed me. The bits where he's finding little pockets of space. That's what you want. That's what you sort of want to find Madison times as well. You don't want to see him. He was dropping deep at times a lot yesterday as well. But you want to see him more in the final third, yeah, where he can pop up for the second goal, where he scored the second goal, yeah. That is a proper typical Madison goal. That is where Son sees it at the edge of the box, yeah. Passes to him and Madison just dispatches it, yeah. That was a really good finish. I'm seeing people can say like, oh, Madison doesn't put the work into this system, but he was brought in as a number 10, yeah. Madison, yeah, was brought in to be our playmaker. When we ask him to start playing like an 8 and like sometimes a 6 role, ask him to do them sort of roles as well, be asking to do that sort of.
He's going to struggle. Yeah, of course.
You're going to see a natural. Sometimes you have to have a player in your team. You don't say you get the free role, but you say to them, yeah, you're basically sometimes playing the free role. You can do what you do best. Do what you do best in front of you, yeah, and then behind you, we'll take care of that basically, yeah. That's what sometimes you have to do for like a player like Madison.
And I think that's why. I think that's why Madison and Kulu don't play together very often, is because they both sort of have a free role in a way. We see Kulu.
I'm very impressed with Bergvall. I watched him when he was with Girls, and we were interested and all that. I thought, okay. I was always confident Gray would hit the ground running before him because he came from the ECL, the Championship, right? So right. He's had good grounding and from a good footballing family. And I watched his parents and uncles play football in the era. But Bergvall, to me, what really impresses me is like, when he's on the left and then he's like sidesteps and glides past the player, right? It's very Eze-esque like at Palace, right? Very like Eze, but he's more aggressive than Eze. He ain't frightened of putting about. He's got 8 bookings this season, all competitions.
Oh, that's what I like about him.
And like,
he likes to get stuck in.
I mean, to me, I wanted Eze on a left back beginning of the season. The way I've seen Bergvall play, we badly need another number 9, a proper number 9 behind Solanke, don't we? I still think we need a fullback, and if Gray's going into midfield, then you need a number 6. And I think 3 quality players in those positions in the summer. I'd like David Fratesi at Milan because he is an energetic, aggressive. He plays for Italy, box to box. He come from Sassuolo when he went to. No, he's at Milan, isn't he? He went to Milan. and the manager ain't playing him much, you'd get him for like 30 million. I mean, I would take him over Johnny Cardoso, who's also played very well recently against Real Madrid and things like that.
Is that over Cardoso?
Sorry?
Did you say that?
Sorry?
Did you say that over Cardoso? Did you say over Cardoso? I remember you said you take someone over Cardoso. I didn't hear you said.
Fratesi. Cardoso would be a better option, but I still think Fratesi's the better player. I think he's more aggressive.
How much is Fratesi going for, though?
About 30 mil. They paid.
And what's his age? Like 25, 26? I was 25, 26.
Cardoso, we've got a written agreement already.
Yeah, I think it's
taking for £21 million, 25
million. I think that might.
That's a steal.
And I think if you look at their career-wise, like if you look at the potential their career can go to, I'm not going to jump on the Levy bandwagon here because this sounds like I'm a businessman when I'm saying this transfer deal, yeah. But if you look at it, £21 million for a player now, yeah, he's potentially worth 45 million quid. That's better. So already giving him a new contract.
Well, not only that, it's a no-brainer getting Cardoso.
Yeah, it makes sense
because the way he's been playing, his valuation, you could buy Cardoso tomorrow for 21 million and probably sell him for 30 the next day.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like Tony Lee. It sounds like I'm for a quick profit.
Wait, your name's Daniel and his name's Daniel.
If you're a smart business, think about it. We got rid of the Celso, yeah, for basically pittance, yeah, to Real Betis, yeah, and we put this clause in, yeah, specifically for a reason, because we thought potentially this player might be worth something in the future to sign, or we might even get money if he gets signed by another club. We're getting money for a player who never played for us, potentially, yeah? If he went to another club during that period. But say if he went to, like, someone else in Spain for, like, 25, but we're going to get, what was it, 15-20% of him? Which is the clause we put in, yeah?
Well, if you want another player in who probably doesn't quite suit the Ainge system, now that Juventus have got Muani and the manager isn't playing Dusan Vlahovic, I've always liked Vlahovic. What I've seen.
I know you like Vlahovic, mate.
and I would,
now as well. It's going to be cheaper now as well than what he was in the past.
You could get him for about 30 mil now for Juventus.
I know you can. Cheaper than what he was ever
But there's a reason. But there's a reason why he's available for so cheap.
Yeah, it is. He has. It's not bad, his stats at Juve. It's a question of how a manager plays him. If you play a system in, like, people argue at our club now, does Porro really suit the system? His defensive frailties are becoming exposed again. But when he's on song, he's
Would I take a punt on Vlahovic for 30 million quid? Would I take a punt on Vlahovic for 30 million quid? I'd have to be honest, yeah.
I honestly think. Yeah.
I would. Are you a fan?
I probably still would, mate. I probably still would as well. That's quite mad because I quite like my players in form and everything like that, yeah. But I see a striker there who you can get back to his best, Vlahovic, yeah. If you just put him, if you get him back to his form, he's going for a little period right now, a confidence period in his career, yeah, where he's not at his levels he was at Fiorentina. But I see a Fiorentina Vlahovic still in there, yeah. You can get that Fiorentina Vlahovic back out of him, yeah. You just have to. And if you can get that Fiorentina Vlahovic back out, I think £30 million are still. Yeah, so I look at his career and I'm just thinking.
I mean, I would look. Parati should be doing his work on that, right? And like so, any other and Fratesi probably as well. So you got Milan and Juventus there. I mean, like I would take both of them, right? But you know, others like that Gyökeres, but he's going to cost you 60-70 mil.
Yeah, I don't see it happening, unfortunately.
Not for a player you don't know is not proven in this league. When he was at Coventry, he didn't do very well. All right, he's developed. He has developed. You know.
Apparently, Spurs and Arsenal. We're both two of the bigger clubs that are looking at Sesko.
Yeah, they're looking at Sesko.
Well, real quick, let me pose you this question. Would you guys rather have Tell on a sign Tell permanently, or would you guys rather have Vlahovic? Because for me, it's Vlahovic all day.
That's a horrible question.
That's not really fair because I mean, like Tell as a youngster, his stats are mental, right? But it's too small a sample, and he's got to be given sufficient game time to be assessed and evaluated. And look, I mean, like he's still a no-brainer. We got him on loan, and if he like. And if we don't get him, I mean, would I take him now? No, I wouldn't. He hasn't done enough. Nice goal, showed the technique against Villa. Lovely goal.
Right. But I just feel like in their system, I don't think he doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, no, he hasn't played
unless you're playing him wide. Yeah.
He hasn't played on either wing yet, and he can do that. And he's physical, big enough to play on the wing. He's not a diminutive winger, is he? You know.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're right. and he could potentially kind of take over for Son if if and when we finally start to kind of phase Sonny out. He I haven't seen
You're
enough of
talking
him to
about
say he's
Melia
gonna-
audio arts, then, aren't you? The new player, yeah, but he's only 17, so like,
Audie saying, plus we've got Scarlett in the squad because only him and Austin will be our academy trained players. It's a good point.
I think a good point of this will be how much game time Scarlett gets. I mean, there's a good chance that if we're playing Frankfurt, whoever we're playing before the week before Frankfurt, Solanke could be rested and Scarlett could play. You're looking at those sort of opportunities. I mean, we need to improve our league position as well, because that will tell you a lot about who we're going for in the summer transfer window and whether Tell stays or not. So
with the way it's going, I don't know. If I was a betting man, I'd say right now that Tell's going to be back at Bayern next season.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I would have well.
yeah,
I would have
yeah.
well. And the thing about the league position as well, like, I don't want to come across as like this is a bit, but what are we? You see, we're in the league. We're potentially now we're only going for extra revenue by places in the league now. To say like if we finish 12th or we finish 10th, you're going to get potentially extra revenue now. We ain't getting Europe through the league. I don't want to prioritise completely Europa League here. If it gets to a stage where we get to the semi-finals and we've got Lazio, I do then want to see this team prioritise the Europa League instead of putting any effort into these little remaining Premier League games we got. We saw in 2017 when Mourinho knew that Champions League was gone in the Premier League, and he knew Man United had a chance to win Europa League. He completely
put everything into winning
about
Europa League.
From about April to May, Man United's form just dropped off in the Premier League like hell. They went from about 5th to about 6th or 7th here, and they only got Champions League football that season because Mourinho beat Ajax in the final. And Man United that year in the Europa League were poor. They just got past Celta Vigo. They were literally won that striker for Celta Vigo. Guedetti, the one that's played for Man City, he missed an open goal in the 89th minute at Old Trafford that would have knocked Man United out. And he ended up going on and winning the Europa League that year after that situation happening. So you can play crap in the Europa League, and still find your way winning the Europa League. So I'm looking at the situation now and I'm like, it's like we've managed to get through this Europa League quarterfinal without even really playing really great football in this Europa League. If you go through all the group stage games and you go through the games how many really good games have we played in this Europa League? Maybe 1 or 2? Really great performances. A lot of these games have been tight games. Like the Verikonos game, the game in Hungary, we struggled. So if you look at, we got into quarterfinals. There's more opportunity here. I look at the teams. I'm like, Bilbao. I'm still thinking they're one of the favourites. But I watched them against Roma yesterday. I'm not convinced with Bilbao. I'm still not convinced with Bilbao. I thought there's some weaknesses. Lazio, it took them. They just got past Pilsen. They're not as good as people think they are. I'm not picking up Spurs and saying, we're going to beat these sides, but it's not a competition where I look at and say, we're definitely going out because we're camps. There's a lot of teams in this competition as well, who are not really that good. As we might be, it's a competition where we find ourselves in the quarterfinals of this competition, without even replaying our best football.
We are. We are in the quarterfinals. And the thing with it also is you're looking at 3.5 weeks before the next game. Now, with players coming back, you would hope our form improves and we build momentum. Because it's never teams usually take the FA Cup and all that and everything else. You find it teams that win their first match 5-0 against opposition. Then fans get excited, we're going to win. World Cups, UEFA Cups and all this stuff, like when you see them Euro competition, they're the teams that usually start off brilliantly that win the competition.
Save Paratici.
I wondered if you were talking to us or what. We've got a surprise guest.
I thought that was another. I thought that was you, who opened up another window and forgot to shut it because we had one a little while ago. I was thinking it was like an invisible person. Pick up Paratici.
Saying save Paratici.
Save Paratici.
Yeah.
Jose, he's going to be we one way or another, whether we get him back as an employee or not. He's going to be involved with this club.
And look, we've got his name.
Good afternoon, Adrian. Welcome back, Talking Ball.
Thanks. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back. Everybody, we're joined by a mystery guest, but I'll go ahead and I'll spill the beans. His link is right below. So, guys, in about an hour's time, and exactly an hour's time, really, his show will be beginning. So, if you haven't already,
and my show starts at 10 o'clock as well.
And Adrian starts at 10. So, you guys, we've got an awesome day full of Spurs content. Make sure that you're supporting these boys. There's the LTEL link, and there is Spurs Diehard's link. So yeah, if for some reason you're here, you're watching this, you haven't already subscribed to both of those channels, go ahead and do so. It's the nice thing to do. It helps, and you'll get to view some great content. So, yeah, Jose, buddy, how are you, man?
Working very hard, trying to get my work done before 4 o'clock. You said to me, "Come on," so I've got 5 minutes, and then I've got to go back to my work again.
Well, shoot, we've got you for
Give us
5
your
minutes.
take on the game, then, Jose. Give us your take on the game.
I'm really happy.
Hmm.
I'm happy, and I think I went on to last night after the game. I quickly scouted around YouTube very, very quickly because normally I tend to keep my thoughts to myself after the game, and exactly the way that I was feeling. I went into a few chats and I said good evening, hit the like button, and didn't really make much comment on that. And yesterday, one of the channels that I did end up going to was Jessie's, and so she was the only non-Tottenham one I went into last night, and she was the only person that turned around and said, "Do you know what? Regardless, you've got a right shit season. Regardless of what's going on, you've got to celebrate your victories." So, and it's exactly right. So last night, she said exactly how I felt last night. I'm not going over the top, but it was a win. I saw how many doom gloom merchants were saying that we wouldn't get past them last night. I saw how many doom and gloom merchants said that we would lose last night, and some of it's justified because of the run that we've been on and the way that we've been playing. So I can understand why some people may have thought that we might lose, but we won the game. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't. Were there green shoots? I believe there were. You've got players that are coming back, and the players that are coming back are not going to be fit and oven ready for full throttle Premiership football until they've played at least 6 games. These players are 2 to 3 games in. So there's a famous song that said, "Things can only get better." And that's what I'm hoping for the returning players, that they pick up their fitness and that they do come back to playing at the standard that we know that they can play at. But with that being said, I thought, and I think Dan spoke about him already, and I think you guys have spoken about him. Dan, I think you might have been in the chat last night in Jesse's. I just put one comment in, I was saying hello to people, but the one comment I put in there was, how good was Bergvall? And then I put question mark, anyone, question mark. And, I thought Bergvall was absolutely a complete monster yesterday. And
I thought Maddison was our best player. I thought Bergvall was about our second best player.
But I'm talking about, but we know about Maddison. Bergvall is raw, he's young, we don't know much about him.
I agree with Joe.
And with the thing is, there was one in the second half, right, where the ball looked like it had gone out of play on the touchline, right? And he kind of he done this flick out from nowhere and passed the ball, flicked the ball down the line to someone. But his speed of his foot was so quick, he's flicked it, but you just didn't see him do it.
I thought his interceptions were brilliant yesterday. He's got such a good football IQ, which I questioned some of the other players. He was reading what the other opposition were doing. He was intercepting their passes and that, he had some good interceptions yesterday. No, I just think he looks outstanding.
Yeah, I think personally, I said in the summer, I thought we might have to load him out, but I think keeping him here and then getting him into the squad has actually turned out to be the best thing. And what Joe said is spot on. And when he first came in, he's still a bit raw, but every more game I'm seeing him play in this shirt, I'm seeing why Barcelona were in from in the first place. Yeah, I can see why Barcelona wanted him from the La Masia Academy, because I can see some signs in this player. This player could potentially be a special. If we get it right with this player, we could have one of our special gems there. This kid 18 is looking a very, 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 very good player. And more games I've seen playing a Spurs shirt.
I prefer holding mid player as a holding midfielder.
But he can do it all. I mean, he could play as a 10. He could play as a 10 if we needed him to.
I'm seeing more of a sample size now. Yeah, when I said at the beginning, I want to see a sample size of these players. Before fans start saying, "Oh, this player's getting better, this player's getting better," I want to see sample sizes, like longevity and consistency. I'm seeing consistency now in his performances as well. Take away the thing that happened a couple of weeks ago, that was just a slice of bad luck when he scored that own goal.
Yeah, and I mean, he made a mistake yesterday too. But I mean, he's a kid.
He made a mistake in that game early. Yeah. He didn't. He put his head down a little bit for the first couple of seconds after it happened. But he didn't. Obviously, we didn't play bad. Didn't play well in that game. He still has to play the rest of that game, and he's got a good wide pair of shoulders on his back. For 18 years old as well, yeah. I know he's a bit. Sometimes he might be a bit too over enthusiastic. Sometimes with his tackling, sometimes he's getting like 8 yellows. Yeah, but I still look at it as sometimes the positive as well. Discipline's going to get better by time. But I'm looking at someone like he's not overwhelmed to put a foot in as well. You want to see your 18-year-old kids doing that. Yeah, plays the way. And every more game, I'm seeing him in a Spurs shirt. Yeah? I'm just seeing improvements, a little bit of improvement. Yeah, and I'm seeing the reason why that I might have got it wrong about this kid and saying, "Oh, he needs a loan spell in the summer." Like he is one. I'm glad that we beat him for Barcelona. This kid Bones have a good. I'm not going to pick up and say, "Oh, this guy's going to be the new Modric or the new Ericsson."
I mean, we might be talking about him like that someday. That's the crazy part. We've had players in the past year where they've come to Spurs. They've not looked too great to begin with, and then they've turned out to be superstars. Players like Bale, players like Kane.
And also, I mean, like we had 14 first-team players out max on the injury crisis. But more than one positive that have come out of that injury crisis are Gray, Bergvall, and Spence. I mean, 3 positives, which not any of them would have had game time they've had. I mean, they've all played. I mean, like Gray and Bergvall have made 30-plus appearances each. They would have been drip-fed if we'd had a fully fit squad. You know, you've probably seen a lot more of Werner, I hate to say it, right? But, yeah. So, out of this awful league season,
you have to look at the positives, and some of the positives are...
We have positives.
What's your thoughts about Spence not getting an England team quickly while he's doing it?
Ooh, yeah. I was going to say something about Spence really quick before. So, people like to dog on Ange for, Spence is so great. Ange wasn't playing him. What was he thinking? And I think that a little bit of what Ange did might have pushed him to become a better player and become the player that he is right now. I mean, he really did have to fight. He really did have to prove himself. And I think maybe without that extra bit of motivation of Ange saying, hey, you're not really in my plans, show me something or else you're not going to play. I think that might have been a masterstroke. And I think that, yeah, it's definitely paying off now. I see a lot of people hold that against Ange for, not having played him kind of from the start of the season but I mean, it's clearly worked. Whatever he's done, it's worked. And sometimes players need that.
I'll be honest, man. I don't 100% agree. I feel I might have sort of just fell into a situation, have the sort of situation. But I'm not going to use the past to hold Ange on Spence. At the end of the day, Spence is in the squad now, yeah? Spence is playing well. Spence is in Ange's team, yeah? Whatever happened in the past, if Ange didn't fancy him, well, so be it. At the end of the day, Ange fancies him now, yeah? Obviously, he fancies him in the squad now, yeah? And he's playing well. So I'm going to look at the positives and say, because obviously, he was not getting playing until about November, and he was not hardly getting in the squad at all. So it's until then, and then he's got himself into the squad now, and then basically now he's one of the first starters. He got dropped the other week. His first time started going nuts when he got dropped the other week because that's how important he's becoming to our team. He started off as potentially someone who's playing at right back, yeah, and now he's looking like one of our best left backs.
I'd have him in over.
I'm a selfish fan. I don't want any of our players in the England squad.
Well, obviously, I get that because of injuries and that. I get that because of injuries, but it sort of shows you how. Remember that year when we got to the 2018 World Cup? We had 5 or 6 Tottenham players in the England squad.
Danny Rose, Kyle Walker.
I know sometimes you don't want that many players in the squad. You don't want injuries, but it sort of shows.
Kane.
Yeah, Trippier. It sort of shows you how well they're doing, though, isn't it?
I kind of miss those days, to be honest. But yeah.
But as soon as England went out of the World Cup, they basically said Tottenham bottled the World Cup. I remember that now. I remember all the stuff in 2018. Because when we had 5 players at the start of 11, it was basically, Tottenham bottled the World Cup, brother.
We always have to have somebody to blame,
Yeah.
It's how it is. But, Jose, do you think he was snubbed? Do you think that he should have made the England squad?
Who? Jed Spence?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think...
Versatility.
Yeah, I think, when you look at the squads nowadays, you kind of... I'm probably old-fashioned, right? But back in the day, when a squad was picked, you could tell who was the right back, who was the left backs, and who were your centre-backs. You could tell who played where in midfield, and you could tell who your forwards were, because it was simple. England played a 4-4-2. But now with the systems that are being played, you see a whole bunch of defenders being selected, a whole bunch of midfielders being selected, and a whole bunch of forwards being selected. And you think to yourself, well, really, I can't work out what the team lineup's going to be because it all depends on what the formation is going to be. Now, looking at it today, I thought to myself, who's the cover at left back? Because obviously Spencer's a right back that's been playing left back, but playing better in the left back position. and I couldn't work out who it was. And then I thought to myself, shit, it's Dan Burn. Dan Burn of Newcastle, who's been playing centre back. He's a left back. Other than that, I couldn't see another left back there because Livramento is a right back, and so is Carl Walker. Although Carl Walker can play centre back of 3 as well. And it's just, I just found it weird. I mean, there was a leak online yesterday, and sometimes you shouldn't believe the leaks, but the leak online yesterday said that Maddison, Spence, and Solanke would all be in the team. And if I was to believe what I read yesterday morning, I would have thought, if anything, Solanke might have been the one that wouldn't have been selected because he's only just come back from injury. And Spence would have been more merit. And I think Maddison's done enough. He's done a bit more than some of the others have done. And then when I saw the squad today, Rashford has got a pass straight back in.
Ronnie, so Jordan Henderson still is making the English squad.
Back in, mate.
Yeah, and Jordan Henderson's back. So
Lewis Skelly will play on the left, though, won't he, Jose?
Yeah, right. He can play, but he's another one who's a right back, really, isn't he? So but at the end of the day, Skelly's doing well. He is doing well for Arsenal, but I don't see Skelly. Sorry,
is Lewis Hall injured? Because I thought Lewis Hall with him.
Lewis Hall's injured. He's out. He's out for the season.
Yeah, so I thought he would have got. Yeah, I was about to say he surely would have got everybody at left back.
Yeah, he's out for the season, mate. That's why he isn't.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
So I mean, I am disappointed a bit, but I don't think Jed Spence was expecting to be called up. I think what Tuchel's done, he's spoken to a load of people, and that's what's come out in interviews from a lot of players from different clubs, is that Tuchel has reached out to them and spoken to them all. People have been saying he's possibly spoken to about 50 players, and from then he has to go and pick a 26. This time round, he has to pick a 26, and he's not in it, Spence. But at the end of the day, that won't stop Spence. That won't deter Spence. Spence wants to play football. Spence wants to be a first teamer. Spence doesn't want to spend time on the sidelines as a substitute. Spence wants first team action, and I think all his eggs are getting into one basket to do that for Tottenham. And if that's the case, as I believe it is, then it only benefits Tottenham Hotspur. If it don't benefit England, so be it. But it benefits Tottenham.
That's the main thing, that they benefit us.
And that's what we're looking at, aren't we? We're looking at Tottenham.
Absolutely.
And also about Spence as well. He'll naturally find himself in that England squad. If he keeps up his form how it is at the moment, he'll naturally find himself getting in that squad because versatility is also a massive part of this game as well. He can still play that right back role as well and potentially play that left back role now as well, just as good. He will find himself in that England squad if his form continues, because the versatility part of it in international football, especially in tournament football, is massive. Yeah, so you've got a player there that basically cover 2 positions. And if you're taking a 23 to a World Cup squad, you've got Spence who can then potentially play just as good at left back as he can at right back. So if he can keep up that form in his career going forward, it will definitely be on that cusp of that England squad.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Called up for Spain, and he hasn't been in great form. And Odebert and Cho have been called up for the French under-21s. So you do get players called up on previous
merit or things that they've done in the past.
Merit. I mean, because you think, getting
left back for England, there seems to be like an open spot. You actually notice it. Luke Shaw's been not that fit, naturally fit the last few years as well. Yeah, so if you at left back, there's actually a spot for someone to sort of grasp it. So especially can get himself in that squad. That's why I'm a bit annoyed that he maybe didn't get a call up here. Because that sort of spot's open for someone to say, look, if you play well in this spot for the next year, you might be the left back going forward for the World Cup. So I'm not 100% confident with Luke Shaw being there. No chance.
Has Chilwell been injured this year?
No, he's only just started getting minutes for Palace.
The Palace alone, isn't he?
Yeah, he's only just started getting some minutes.
Jose, while we've got you here, I know you're doing 2 things at once, so I appreciate you more than you know, by the way. You're a good friend. But I was just going to say, we talked about Odebert before the match.
You and I yesterday?
Yeah, yep. And we mentioned him a bit, and I was very happy with what I saw.
Okay. Odebert's still young, right? And he's still carving his career and learning the trade, so to speak. So I think that a bit like what Dan said earlier about Bergvall. I think with Odegaard, you got to give him time. He's not going to be the finished article. You got to give him time. The one thing that I will say is that on the evidence, there are green shoots there. Does he take players on inside, outside? I've not seen loads of evidence on that, but Johnson doesn't do that. So, and I think people are poo-pooing Tell, and I'm not sure why, because if you play Tell in his position, which is wide left, you would probably see Tell go inside, outside of players as well. But Odegaard, he done well because he's a different profile altogether. The 2 goals that he scored, would Johnson have scored them? I'm not sure, because it wasn't targeted play that Johnson would get on the end of, if it makes sense. But he took both of his goals well, very, very well. And at the end of the day, we can criticise players and we can say, we want to see more of players and stuff like that. But like Adrian has said in the past as well, it's about putting it in the back of the onion bag, innit? And he did. He done it twice yesterday.
Back of the onion bag. Jesus,
so you got to put him in the onion bag, isn't there? The balls have got to go into the onion bag. It's the net.
Jose, can I ask you something about Tel one second? You said he said about the last 2 games. Obviously, Solanke's come back now. Played striker. Is it against Bournemouth and obviously the Europa League? And he's let Tel out the last 2 matches. He's not even brought him off the bench the last 2 games. If he was going to see him as a left winger, if you thought he would have at least played him some minutes in that Bournemouth game, or at least played him in the last 2 games, do you still think Ange sees him as a striker? And now Solanke's back in the team. That's why we're not seeing Tel at all in these last 2 games.
No, I think what he's done, Dan, I think he's taken him out the firing line, mate, because he was playing him centre forward, and I think that his confidence and him as a person, I think it's taken a bit of a knock, because the Premiership is different to the German league. This is only my opinion, by the way. It's different to the German league, and to me, and I'll tell anyone, at this present moment in time, he's not a number 9. Hasn't been a number 9, and is not a number 9. Whether he transforms himself in his career to become a 9, that's different. But at this present moment in time, and from what the evidence I've seen at Bayern, he's not a number 9. And we've played him there, Ange just played him there out of necessity, because there's no Solanke and there was no Richarlison. However, I believe, and I've said this before, I believe Scarlett is more of a 9 than Matthias Tel. But he didn't play Scarlett there. He's played Tel there. And I think that he's taken a bit of a buffeting, Dan, to be honest with you. I think if you've seen him play as well, I think he's taken a bit of a buffeting in the Premiership. And then, it's interesting because Son turned up last night. Son has turned up in the last couple of games and played well. In the last month or so, Son has been a different Son to what he's been for the previous 4 months. Whether he's scoring, whether he's assisting, whether he's taking players on. So Son's kind of woken up and been energised. Now, whether that's because there's a lot of players that can play down on the left or not, I don't know. But I would say that I think Tel will get opportunities, but they will be from the left-hand side. He's right-footed, but I prefer to see Tel playing on the left than playing on the right. I thought yesterday, I spoke to Colin yesterday offline, and we were talking about the game because Colin was working, and Colin was saying that he's a bit, what do I think of the game? He's a bit jittery. And I turned around and I said to Colin, you've got 2 ways of looking at the game. And you can either go in with your experienced players, i.e. put Son in there and stuff like that. I even included, I think I might have included Johnson. And I said, but off the bench, if you had people like Tel, Odegaard, obviously I didn't think Papsar would start, but you've got Papsar as well. And I knew that it'd be one of the fullbacks wouldn't play, whether it was a Doggy, Porro, or Spence. And I said to Colin, there's 4 substitutions straight away that you can make that will add strictly pace to the team, and pace kills. So you knacker a team out, and you can change it up and bring pace on. So I'm surprised. I'm a bit surprised that in the last 10 minutes or so, I think he still had 1 more substitution to make. And I'm surprised that Tel didn't get the last 10 minutes for his pace, if anything, because I thought Son was getting tired by then as well.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, just for what it's worth, I think Son, we've already talked about this, but played a good match. I think that against, I don't want to say lesser opposition exactly because it sounds rude, but I think that Sonny, when he plays against, I'll just say lesser opposition, I think he tries more of the tricks and things that we see old Sonny do, because he's better against weaker opposition, and I was happy with what he did. I was happy with him yesterday.
And I want to say when he stopped doing a lot recently compared to what he's done the last couple of years. When he comes in, he's taking a couple two months. When he comes in on to curl it inside the top corner like he used to before, like a couple of times yesterday where I think Sonny played really well the last couple of games, but I think there's a couple of times yesterday where he's run, and he's taken a bit too much time before he gets away the shot. It's like he gets away the shot, when the players have got in front of him, and then the block's more easier. It's like he should take the shot 1 second earlier, Because at that time when he was on the counter attack and he was running through, and I think it was Poku or I can't think one of their players was chasing it back. He couldn't get to it, And I was thinking, just as he was getting to the edge of the box, now Kerner, he decided to take like one extra touch and then run into the box, and then the two men come across and both like last cats blocked it. There's a couple of times where I feel like that just might be where he's getting a bit older and in his mind sometimes. He might just think like this, when you're naturally on a pitch sometimes, it's not as naturally as fresh as it was when he was 25, 26. So, but I'm saying to you earlier, even if Sonny does have his little bit where he's dropping off in his quality, it's because the standards were so high. Sonny said, where he's being Harry Kane, that we've sort of got used to Sonny being our go-to guy when it was either Harry Kane or it was Son. So when Harry Kane went, Son basically become, you're the go-to man now, And because he's not always delivered consistency just that little 2-year period, it's sort of peed off the fans, but it's also, it's more, I think Spurs fans are more sad about it because we don't want to see, one player we didn't want to see this decline, a little bit of a natural decline happen, We don't want to sort of admit it's Sonny as well. We're going to have to like sort of drop our standards a bit about him now because he's not the player he was when he was 27, 28, but he's still our most clutch player in our team. Him, Madison, and players like Kulu, are still the 3 or 4 players I look at this team and think if they're going to get us a goal or assist, it's probably going to be one of them.
And Sonny's always been streaky. Sonny's always been a streaky player. You know what I mean? He was never scoring game after game after game. He would always have a couple games where he wasn't as involved. Things didn't come off for him. So
I can see why.
My main critique of yesterday and of some of the previous games. I mean, it was a good performance yesterday, but my main critique is our lack of scoring chances that our approach play deserved. We've seen it in other games as well. Some of our approach plays, we look very threatening. We get to the final third, everything comes to a grinding halt around a penalty area. Nothing much happens. Yesterday, we did look dangerous when we got in around the penalty area, but we didn't create that many chances, and that is still an issue. It's still an issue. Remember a game against Villa last year? I think we lost it on 2-1 or something, but we created 17 chances in 20 minutes or something. That was amazing, right? But we lost the game. But, I mean, we need to get back to creating a lot more chances. It's just, this is why the front three is still clunky, but it's not going to perform if the midfield doesn't perform. I've said it all season, our midfield, whatever blend we've chose, it's never really, get a game where at least 2 of those midfielders are regularly playing before you rest them, And then, but we just didn't create enough chances. We should have won that game yesterday by more than 3-1, which the 2-1 made it. I suppose I'm still confident we'd go on and win it. We're at home, but it's just like it was a sloppy goal to give away again, and it shouldn't have happened. Really, there was time to get rid of that ball between Odebert and Bergvall.
Yeah, that was just. I don't know if it was panic, if it was just inexperience. I'm not even sure who the pass was supposed to go to.
The typical Spurs goal to concede, though, and it like proper just giving a goal to the other team, like just when we thought it was going all good, 2-0 up, like let's just give it.
I couldn't even tell.
Let's just wrap up again for the other team. Yeah,
do you think he was trying to pass? Was Bergvall even trying to pass to?
I think that's more. I don't know. I'm going to look more on Bergvall there. Even though I've been thinking of Bergvall's performance yesterday, I feel like he should have been. That was a bit of a lazy pass back without like really looking around your surroundings there. Like Odebert was close, like sort of like Odebert maybe should have got out the way. So I don't know who you're playing. There. Both young players there as well. Yeah, they're both 2 young players. So, really, Bergvall should have maybe been a bit more calmer with his. I feel like the pass is a bit like just like a lazy little pass back here. So I feel
Well,
like
I mean, if it was a pass to Wilson, he overcooked the absolute shit out of it. Like there was no reason he put way too much mustard on that pass. So there was nothing he could
to
do.
the goalkeeper, wasn't it?
Oh, and then he was just in the way, and then Wilson was just in the
He
way.
was like in the way. But what I think he's done is he's literally just passed it like aimlessly back to the goalkeeper, like looking to see where Odeberg was placed. So I think it's more on Berg rather there, but you can't. Like that's the sort of thing that you're going to see one time, like every 50, like every 100 matches in football. You're not going to see Spurs and see that sort of goal every week. So it's like sometimes human error, you know? Why that's
the third goal was brilliant, and it was good to see Solanke.
Yeah, and the third goal was the fact that it's on. Yeah, it's just football of what we sort of
with that death flick for Odeberg's second. But
that flick was nasty. Yeah,
what's been missing in our games? These little deaf short flick passes that haven't been coming off for us, like, you know, you see it when a move breaks down, the crowd go, whoa, like, you know what I mean, like, groan, like, because when we start getting a couple of them moves work out, then you're beating teams 3 or 4, you know, you're going to beat them 3 or 4, you're going to be in.
The fact that we felt confident enough to try that makes me happy too, you know, and that's just something that we weren't able to do without a proper center forward, without his hold up play, without his ability to occupy a space, occupy defenders, and then get other players involved. It's just something that Tell doesn't have in his bag, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not knocking him for that because, as Jose said, and as everybody said, that's not the type of player he is. It's not his position. But I think that we were really – it just shows how much we were lacking.
We don't look a tired team now, Colin. We don't look a tired team. We just need to, like, with players coming back fit, get that bit of sharpness back into VDV and Romero because he progresses it up the field. When them pair have played, we've won more games when those two have been playing side by side, and in midfield, and like it's just the freshness that you need, and then the sharpness and the speed of thought comes with it, so you make the right decisions on the field. When you're knackered, you're not thinking straight on that football field. You're just hoping things are going to work out for you. You know, I mean,
for sure.
And, okay, can I just say, look, I've got to shoot because I've got to finish my work because I've got my.
I need to eat something as well.
I was going to say,
can I just say to you, welcome back, Talking Ball.
Yeah, welcome.
Nice to see. It's nice to see you back. It's nice to see you back on, mate. And I know it's been coming because you and I speak off screen and that, but it's actually getting the time to actually do it. I've told the people that ask me how busy you are with your work and your new work and your life and stuff like that, and getting adapted to all the things that you're doing. So you know, at the end of the day, mate, you're welcome back, and come back when you can do it. You know the score, you know the routine. We'll always be here for you. So, well done, mate. And
I appreciate that more than you know. Thank you, buddy.
Adrian and Dan, pleasure as always. God bless you both as well. And I'll catch up with people in the chat really soon. Thank you.
30 minutes, guys. 30 minutes. We'll hop on over to Eltel and predictions. It's predictions day, baby. But thank you, Jose, for your kind words, and see you soon, buddy.
Take care, people. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, last question, and I know that this is kind of a loaded question, and it's fine. We don't have to go very long on it, but I'll just go kind of around. So is Ange buying himself more time with the cup? And then / next question, does he stay if we win Europa? And I'll start with you, Dan.
He buy himself more time if we win the cup. Definitely. Do I personally want him to say, I'm not going to go into my situation, but does he buy himself more time to win the cup? Yeah. Does he stay if we win Europa? Yeah. So you know, the reason why he buys himself more time if we win the cup, because we look at how the season's been. It's not been good, and really now he's not been sat now. We're going so much. It obviously looks like the league is giving him either the injuries is the reason why the season's not been good, or the Europa League is the reason why you're going to save your job. It's like 2 scenarios basically. So I've heard apparently that no matter what happens at the end of the season, he's going to get into the season review no matter what. So
that's what I've heard as well.
He will.
He might get to keep it.
You've got to look at the 2 legs against Eintracht Frankfurt. One's on Thursday, the 10th of April, and the other one's a return at Frankfurt. It's the 17th of April. Well, you're very near the season. You're not getting rid of him now, you know. So, and
they did say we're going to win it. They did say obviously that the injuries might have played a factor in like why the form has been quite bad now. They said that apparently even if he got the Europa League, this is why I heard like rumours that if he went out yesterday, he would still be here till the end of the season, and he would have an end of the season review to look at the injury problems, and then to look at how the club is, and to see if there's enough reason to put this into a third season. But the Europa League, winning the Europa League, they would definitely buy him a first season one. Because Champions League football is basically he navigates the whole league season, because the league season will basically be finished in the 12th, but you still got Champions League football. It would be TV, obviously the revenue would still be from the Champions League. It was a big plus point for Levy as well, which would be a big plus point in keeping his manager. European, I feel like getting European football may play a big part in him keeping his job now. Because it'd be 2 years out of 3 we've not got European football. We don't get it this year. It'll only be the first year under Ange, but the year he come, we didn't have European football, whatever. I feel like you start getting to like 2 out of 3 seasons without European football. Like that's when Levy starts looking at his
panicking.
coming in from like the European money and starts saying, well, I'm not going to start accepting. I've not been in Europe for like 3, 4, 5 seasons. Only one every 4 or 5 years. That's when. So Europa, in my eyes, if he wins Europa League, I don't know if I want him to stay. I don't know personally if I want him to stay myself. But if I think what the club is, yeah. If he does win the Europa League, he's definitely going to be in next season. He'll definitely be in next season. And the Europa League is definitely finding more time. Like Adrian said, it's the next Europa League tie. It's going to be in April now anyway. So by the time the end of the season, it's going to be like, what, a month between the end of the season anyway. So he's going to be here to the end of the season pretty much no matter what now. Guaranteed that. Like when yesterday, pretty much guaranteed that. If he'd have lost yesterday, there might be a scenario where he might have gone and then Mason might have been in for the last 10 games of the season because there was nothing to play for left in the league season, and he might have got that toxic that Andy's job might have been untenable yesterday. So he might have gone yesterday with a loss. He's still here now for the rest of the season now because the Europa League is, like Adrian said, is mid-April now, and there's going to be a potential now. So like, and then the end of the season review is going to be in May. And if you obviously what Jody said the other day, Trino as well, no matter what happens at the end of the season, same has to get looked at this football club. It's not been acceptable what happens at this football club this season. In the league season, the injury record and how this club is signing players. The same has to be looked at this summer on all aspects of the football club, even if we do win Europa League.
Yeah, for sure. There's got to be an inquest. We got to find out what's going on.
The medical team needs to be the first thing that needs to be looked at in this summer. Because this has happened at this club for like the last 10 years, yeah. We've had medical teams misdiagnose when a player is going to come back. That seems to be their biggest problem, yeah. Misdiagnosis of when a player is going to come back. Not the players getting injured, because players get naturally injured sometimes, yeah. It's the misdiagnosis of when they're going to come back. Like you're saying they're going to come back in a month, yeah, and they don't pop up again for another 3 months' time. That's the thing that annoys me, and that's been happening even before Ange comes to this football club. So people can't just put that completely on Ange at this football club with the medical, yeah? That was happening even before he got to this football club. Our medical team, misdiagnosing when a player's going to come back from their injury. That seems to be a big problem they've been doing for the last 5 or 10 years. That needs to be getting looked at ASAP.
I buy it.
Sorry,
yeah. I love getting your point of view, bro. So I agree regarding the medical team as well, especially when we've got players coming out and saying they've gone to their own, medical teams or their own doctors that they trust over the team's medical, over Tottenham's medical team. It's not a good look. But yeah, same question, Adrian. I know you kind of gave a little bit of your answer with does he stay, till the end of the season? You think he will? Of course, I agree with you. But what about next season? Do you think that if he wins, it buys him a chance to see what he can do in the Champions League next season?
My instinct tells me he will be there next season, and I'm looking at
win
that
or
for
lose
next season, and I'm also thinking the sort of caveat to that is by the time after the World Cup finishes. And Poch has alluded to coming back one day. All depends on how that next season goes. If they keep him for next season anyway, then you'd get Poch the following season. If it works out well, he stays again, and Poch has got to wait a bit longer. I can see Poch returning one day though. It may be sooner or later.
He's talked about it too much for it not to be a real possibility. He's really flirting with the club, and you can tell he wants to come back. So
whatever happens, even off this summer transfer window, this squad's going to be improved upon. So if Ange stays next season and does well, wins the Europa this season or whatever, then even if he does go of his own volition, because he's not a young man, he's a multi-millionaire, he don't need the money. They do it for pride, don't they? They want to win. Why put yourself through all the pressure? And then the door would virtually be open for Poch or any up-and-coming manager that's up-and-coming at that time, because, it changes so fast in football, 1 minute you're a genius, next minute you're a dumbskull, you're a numbskull. So, yeah. So,
Jamie, what's up,
Yo,
buddy?
yo.
You're here right at the end, man. About ready to have to get off
Hello?
here. But yo, what's up, buddy? Hey, man. How's it going? Can you hear us?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Jamie?
I got to go, guys. I've got to eat something before we go.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Having me
See you
on.
soon.
Sit down, Rachel, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a massive delay on my end for some reason.
And
Oh,
I'll,
snap. I was going to say, we can hear you
see
just
you
fine,
guys
buddy.
later. Cheers to everyone in chat. Big up to all in chat. We got a show till 10 o'clock, but Jose's show starts in 24 minutes.
20 minutes almost.
So get over that, everyone.
Yeah, I'll watch.
And we're on at 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, I'll come and watch it later, Rachel, mate. Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Hello, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Bye. Bye.
Jamie, my man. Hey, so can you hear us? I haven't found out if you can hear us yet.
Let me log out and log back in because I can't hear.
Sounds good, buddy.
I say, Colin, your thoughts then quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think
So,
if
I'll ask that question to you. So, if so, do you think this perfect example? Do you think Ange will definitely be here then if we win the Europa League? I know you obviously want Ange to stay here. Obviously, that's what we're obviously 50-50, so like different opinions. But what would you feel like the club will do? Not what you want to do. What would you feel like the club will do if we don't win the Europa League this season? And if we do win the Europa League, that's two scenarios. Do you feel like he will go? Do you feel there's enough reason to say there's enough backing him into a third season? And say if we finish 12th and about the last 8 or say the semi-finals by Frankfurt or Lazio, do you then feel there would be enough reasoning to say that the injury excuse is enough reason to say that we've got to give this guy a third season? Because say we go from 5th to 12th and we've got no European football going into a third season, is that enough to then say there's enough progression going into the third season? Because a lot of people will like to say use the Arteta thing and say that he finished 8th and 8th the first 2 years, but he did sort of like, he had a little bit of a, I don't like using this because it's only an FA Cup, he sort of had that little bit of he had that little bit of a credit in the bank with Arsenal fans. You had to sort of give them the sort of like hope going into the third. A lot of people do use the Arsenal thing and say, look, the first 2 years was bad. Spurs might start picking up in the third, fourth season and that year. But I'm a bit alarmed by like how bad the form has been since November. So just give me.
Oh man, I can't hear you for some reason. It's not coming on my speaker.
You can't hear us still? Jamie? Jamie, my man, are you still there? Can you hear us?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Hold on,
We can hear you, just can't hear us, mate.
We can hear you, sir.
Yeah, it's on his end, isn't it?
Yep. We can hear you. We can hear you, buddy. Can you hear us?
Oh.
Maybe just go on a
Jamie.
banter.
Yeah, it's not coming out. I can't hear you through my speaker for some reason because I'm on my phone.
Well, we're about to end, but let me give you a
Oh, this is
call.
annoying.
Let me put it in the chat. I'll call you ASAP. We are about to end. Boom. Let me just get that up so you can see that. But yeah, I mean, I think it all depends really on how Ange feels, right? I mean, if he still seems like he's got passion for it, if he still seems like he wants to do it, then I think, yeah, I think that, I think we'll give him another season. I really do. I think that we kind of got behind him for this project. I think that Levy knows how bad of a look it is to be chopping and changing all the time. I think he wants some stability, especially with, perhaps some new ownership coming in. It would be good to have kind of some stability at the club.
Yeah, that's all. That's what we do want stability at the end of the day, this football club, and that's the main thing at the end of the day. No matter what, if people don't want him here anymore, people do want him at the end of the day. One thing that I think every fan can agree with: this club does need stability. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want fans to get worried about the rinse and repeat thing about sacking managers, but we can't just keep going through a manager every two years and just keep getting it wrong every 2 years. One time we have eventually got to get it right with management, how we did with Poch. So, like, I do understand that. So we do eventually have to become a stable club and just give a manager at least 4 or 5 years to try and build something here. You ain't going to be able to build much on 2 years every time and then you're gone. 2 years every time and then you're gone. 2 years every time and then you're gone. So, like, the only way to establish yourself as a club is to do it like the Arteta, the Pep, or the Klopp way. Is to give a guy 4 or 5 years. It's just a lot of Spurs fans might not be the trustworthy in giving this guy the 4 or 5 years. That's what I'm saying. It just might be for like an Iriola type man. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, there's some people like, and I will never disagree and never say anyone is entitled to their opinion. At the end of the day, I agree with any Spurs fan. Like, even if I do think some of their opinions are wrong or some opinions are not right. At the end of the day, I know that at the end of the day, we both want the same. We both want Spurs to be successful, yeah? And that's all I care about. If someone wants to have a different opinion than me about how they want it to be the manager or they don't want a manager, I know at the end of the day, the both goals for us is this club to be successful. So that's where we both have that common goal at the end of the day. Anyone who disagrees on the Ange being here or don't, we both have the common goal at the end of the day, and that's Spurs being successful. So we can start bantering Arsenal fans a bit more when they go through their little period where we don't. So I mean, I would love the scenarios that happen, man. Because I had a lot of Arsenal fans picking up their season at the beginning of the season. Like, we managed to scam the Europa League and they go out to Real Madrid, and then we got the Champions League football the same as them, and we got a trophy. They can't really say they've had a better season than us in a way. So that'll be the only way that I can sort of scam this season as well. And then the second though, Real Madrid ain't even that great of a team. I've got a little bit of a bad feeling about Real Madrid this year, the Champions League. They might be able to scam their way through Arsenal.
Yeah, perhaps. I don't want it. I don't want it to happen.
Colin, man. It's good to see you back. It's good to see you back, Colin, man.
Absolutely, man. It's good to be here. I haven't had time and the energy to do this.
It's good that your work's going well as well. Like I said, when people get a new job and that, it takes them away from their normality a bit for a little period, but they have to get used to their new time schedule and stuff like that as well, and their new job. So anyone completely understand when you get a new job. And also as well, when exactly the best 3 or 4 months as a Spurs fan really to get yourself motivated as well.
No, I definitely picked. I purposely picked today to do it since we're talking.
I know it's funny. He's left that stream on delay for the last month here, just waiting for a time where we finally got a decent. Like, yeah, I can go live now. Like,
exactly. I don't have to come and cry and be upset about a result.
I'm just happy we've still got some motivation going to the rest of the season, because I was at a point yesterday where if we would have lost yesterday, I'll be honest with you. You know me, we're mates. I'll tell you real, yeah. If we'd have lost yesterday, I would have mentally checked out the rest of this season.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. At a certain point, it's just causing more harm than good for your mental health, almost. Like,
it would have had nothing to play for the rest of the Premier League season. We'd have gone out the last 16 in a tie that I think we should definitely gone through. I would have sort of mentally checked out from the rest of the season, for the last 2 months. So I didn't want to have to do that as a football fan as well.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
Mentally check out my football club for the last 2 months of the football season. So at least I've got that motivation now going into April, where we're going to have to get a bit lucky in the Europa League to get to the final, potentially win it. But like I said, I look at the main teams left, and I look at the sides, the ones that were supposed to be the big favourites, so like how Bilbao and Lazio, yeah. And I weren't convinced. Bilbao started spanking up Roma yesterday, yeah, and Roma went down to 10 men. Yeah. Lazio only just got through Pilsen in the last minute against the last 12 minutes against the Czech Republic team at home. And Lazio is supposed to be one of the favourites to win this competition, yeah? So people were overhyping our opponents because
Jamie, can you hear us now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, got you perfect, man.
You can hear us.
Yes, finally.
Big up, Jamie.
Jamie, my man. So we're about to end, but same question to you. Is Ange buying himself more time with the cup, and does he stay if we win?
I think they still get rid of him at the end of the season.
Really interesting.
Yeah. Even if they win the trophy,
yeah. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I mean that's.
Is that him not winning it? What's that on him? Is that him? He says he's going to win it.
I think even if he wins it, I think because a lot of fans have turned. I think as well.
Yeah, I'm more on Jamie's side. I'm more like on that mentality. Like, even if he doesn't win, I think he should still go no matter what. Yeah. But I'm sort of like doing it as like the 50-50 side. Like, I think as the club, I think if they do win the Europa League, I think I'm trying to think like what will the club do? I think they'll keep him.
I'm not sure it's the best. I'm not sure it's the best. I'm not sure it's the best decision even to keep him. But I do think, again, I also think that the club will keep him. I think the club might keep him even if we lose, even if we don't win the Europa League. I think we might keep him for a third season. I don't know why I get that feeling, but I do.
End of the season review sort of thing. I'll look at if it gets really bad, and we say we finish 11th and we go to the Europa League next round. I think it'd be very hard to say, yeah, he's definitely going to be in the top guarantee. They're going to look at end of season review because they're going to be like, this is our lowest finish in like a long time. They're going to look at the injury situation. They're going to be like, is there enough merit to give this guy a third season? That's what they're going to look at them. So
does he want to stay for a third season? He's not particularly like doesn't spend a long time at any club, So I'm not even sure if his heart will still be in it for next season. So that's a question you got to ask or think about as well.
Yeah, he's not been saying he's having his club career getting to like a third, fourth year at a club as well. So, and he's usually, like you said, he's usually won after 2 years at a football club. So we're not going to say he's going to mentally check out or not wanting to win or anything like that. But he's going to be in a situation where he's not really used to in his club career as well. Going to a third season, still not winning anything as a manager at that club. So is it going to then be able to go through the next 2 or 3 years with the patience to try and build us into a team to potentially, because it might take 4 or 5 years. And
Absolutely.
is he going to? So even the people who say, "Oh, I want Ange to stay," and I think, even then people who are like massively saying, "I want Ange to be at this football club," can you even say this guy will even give it 4 or 5 years before it gets good? Like,
Exactly.
there's no proof to say this guy will stay here 4 or 5 years.
I like Ange as a person, and so part of me wanted him to stay because I like him. I think he's an interesting guy, a good guy. I like his story. Everybody likes a good come up story where somebody's got to fight their way up through the ranks from the lower leagues to finally being in the Premier League at 50 whatever years old, and it's a good story. And I'm a sucker, I think, for like a good story. But I'm not naive enough to say that it's all going great or that it looks like it's going to work out even. I don't know. And I don't know if he wants to stay. And Jamie, what you said, man, about, the fans fully agree. A lot of fans,
a lot of fans
are done. A
lot of fans who were sticking up from, like, obviously not the fans stick up, but a lot of fans who are more to like, let's be a fans time. A lot more have started saying to like, a lot of people have had enough, but they got to a situation. But a lot of fans now have got to a point where 2 years ago, when we were willing to give this time, when we sacked Conte. A lot of fans said this next manager gets time, sort of. So I think a lot of fans are going back on it now because they've decided this guy is not the right guy to give time. It's more that they've looked around at the managers and they think, if we're going to wait 5 years to become this, hopefully what we want to be, is Ange Postecoglou going to be that guy? And I think a lot of fans have come to the realization or the opinion that this guy, they're not willing to give this guy 3 or 4 years. And there's someone like an Iriola who can get extra 5 or 10% out of players, who has a Poch 2.0 sort of like relentless about him. Yeah, I think fans are more willing to give like a manager like that for 5 years. So I feel like that's where, you see what I'm saying? That's where like this Spurs season is going to play up a massive. If Iriola is going to become attainable, if Bournemouth keep their season how it is now, it's going to become attainable with something. I think he said we cannot get Iriola from Bournemouth. I don't care. If we cannot get Iriola from Bournemouth, Tom Hoffer might as well shut down as a football club, because that I'm not disrespect to Bournemouth. I'm not disrespect to Bournemouth football club, but 2-3 years ago, if we cannot sell the project, a long-term project to Bournemouth, over Tottenham over Bournemouth, with the resources we've got compared to Bournemouth, and the consistency we've got to Bournemouth and finishing in the top 10, if no manager sees that and still stays the Bournemouth over us, that is mad. That shows how bad we dropped as a football club, because in one season, managers will start seeing the Bournemouth as a long-term, more of a better club. Like, see what I'm saying?
I totally see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Unless Iriola has a great season next season, or Bournemouth have like a really great season, you can't really guarantee they're not going to finish 12 or 13. You know what I mean? It's one of them sort of teams, Bournemouth can literally go from like, it's going to be like a one season sort of thing, and next season they can drop back to like 11 or 12. So as the manager at Bournemouth, you can only go so far. As a manager, you can't take them to the next level. At Tottenham, I'm not saying you can because they're needy, but at Tottenham, you definitely have a better opportunity of taking that club to the next level than you do at Bournemouth. So as a manager, it makes, if you want to get yourself out there, and not using the Spurs as a stepping stone, but you're going to definitely get yourself more well-known worldwide if you do a better job at Tottenham, if you do a better job at Bournemouth. And people are going to start looking at you more in the European circle. Do you know what I mean? But I think if we don't get Iriola this year, I think like a Real Madrid or Barcelona are going to end up going for this guy not this summer, next summer.
Wow,
that's just my prediction.
Possible. It's definitely possible. That would be quite a leap for him to make, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for sure.
Haven't we started
Jamie,
talking to these representatives already?
Really? I don't know.
I saw something about that. Apparently, they're just talking at the moment. Representatives. I'm not sure.
It's apparently number one choice. If we do get to leave him in the summer, apparently he's the one that earmarks as the number. I think they've seen a lot of similarities to Poch. If you look at it like Poch, like he started in Spain, he went to a South Coast club like Poch did with Southampton to Bournemouth. He's getting a lot out of these players. 12 months ago, no one was thinking like Justin Kluivert. 12 months later, Justin Kluivert has literally turned around his career, where he can actually start being proud of his surname again. Because he used to have the same surname as his dad, but everyone used to be like, you've got your dad's surname, but you don't even play like even 5% like your dad. Literally, like Justin Kluivert, Patrick Kluivert, it was now he's actually starting to like. Now Justin Kluivert did really good. This like Semenyo as well. You look at players, even look at players like Lewis Cook, players like Christie. He weren't even doing great back 2 years ago. Look at them now for Bournemouth.
Yeah, no, he's definitely got him playing well. But okay, so if it comes down to Iriola or Poch, who would you guys have?
Well, I'm going to take flack for this. I want to hear Jamie's answer first before I take flack for my answer.
Sorry, what was the question? I missed that bit.
So Areola or Poch, if you had your option of either of those two coming in to replace Ange, who would you have?
See, going back for Podge is like going back to an ex-girlfriend. But
But he
would go
wants
back
us back so bad.
But
What
I
if your
probably would
ex-girlfriend's,
go back
what if
to
your
my
ex-girlfriend's really hot and she wants?
I would
she wants to come
go
back?
back to my ex-girlfriend. I want Podge. There's memories there. I still love the man.
And I feel like he's got unfinished business here, and I think he feels that way also. I mean, or else he wouldn't keep, flirting. If we're going to use the ex-girlfriend, he's flirting with the club. He hasn't stopped.
Can't we just take both? Like have him as the other one as assistant? Put your hands together. We've got a good bunch.
We've never had dual head coaches before. Let's give that a try. Yeah, just bring them both in together.
I remember Liverpool having it back in the day, like late 90s. They had Gerard Houllier and Roy Evans, dual managers in the Premier League, and then it never worked. What happened is one gets sacked. The one who started off there, the first manager, he ended up getting sacked, and the second one they brought in as to be like joint managers. You know, like Gerard Houllier come in while Roy Evans was already a manager at Liverpool. Roy Evans basically got sacked like a year later, and then Gerard Houllier become the head coach. And then Liverpool ended up becoming a more successful club under Houllier. But basically, when you're double coaches, one's always going to get sacked, and one's going to end up becoming the main guy. But you see about the thing he said about Poch and Iraola? This is what I'm going to take flack here, yeah? Do you want my answer, Colin?
Yeah, for sure.
My answer about Poch, right? I want Iraola over Poch.
No, that's nothing crazy to say.
Yeah, the reason why is because I'm looking at their club career, and I'm looking at Poch's club career now. Poch has gone into international football, yeah? So, it's going to be even harder to potentially prize him away back into club football now, where I don't think Poch has that sort of character, yeah? To even want to leave USA in the middle, in the lurch. When they think like USA have got, I'm talking to Colin now. Obviously, you're American, so you understand. You got a host World Cup in your home country, obviously in Mexico and Canada as well. Is basically 12 or 30 months away from that World Cup now. I think it's next summer. Well, about 50 months away. Yeah? He's not going to leave USA. He's not that sort of character. Yeah, he's just going to walk out on a USA 13 months before a World Cup. Yeah, because the romance to the Tottenham job. Yeah, is there. Trust me. There's too much hard stuff with Levy, for me to think he's going to do that. And there's another reason why I looked at Poch's last couple of years of his club career as a manager. At PSG, the last 2 or 3 years, he wasn't really great. And at Chelsea, he did a right job there, yeah? But he's dropped off in club managing career to what he was at the top. You're not going to get the same Poch team you got in 29. Spurs fans had to face that, yeah? I feel like he's not dropped off in his career as a club manager, but definitely he's not. And he's not going to be like the squad he had then, like Rose, Walker, they weren't as great, but he obviously blended into really, really great players. If you look at that squad now, if he inherited that squad now, yeah, he's going to have to basically be a miracle worker to get to them same levels. He got to Dembele's and Roses. That's true. Yeah. And then the Dembele and Wanyama's, the Ericsson, the Delis, the Son, the Kenja. If he wants to get our Spurs team how they are, get the squad he's inherited now, if he wants to get into that level, he's going to have to be a miracle worker this time around because they're nowhere near even that level now. See what I'm saying? But when he inherited them in the first time, when he inherited them in the first time, you could at least say, well, we brought Ericsson, who was a quality player already at Ajax. Dembele was already a quality player at Fulham. So, I mean, him and Son, obviously, he had a reputation coming from Germany. He just had to get the extra 10%, 15% out of the plays. Like, if he come in now, he's got to work miracles to play by Brennan Johnson.
It's true. That's true. Who knows if he can even do it with this type of squad?
I'm thinking it's not the right. Even right now, it's not the right. Maybe after the World Cup, yeah.
The job will be there. With the way we get rid of managers.
Yeah, say we give Andrew another year, and then next summer the World Cup finishes, and then Andrew's still here, and it's been bad. I think that would be the perfect time to bring Poch back. I feel like now, Iriola's attainable. I feel like he's perfectly spread with Iriola, man. I feel like Iriola is that big manager in the market now you can get potentially before someone goes in for it.
I'm quoting. Sorry, Jamie, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
You know what you could do as well, like get Areola, and then let Poch finish his contract out, and then get Poch as our director of football and get Lange out because he's still working with the club.
Yeah,
Poch is definitely coming back to this football club. That's one thing Spurs fans have to. Well, we don't want to have to fake it because we want it to happen. But one day or not, Poch here will be coming back to this football club. You can tell by the TalkSport interview yesterday. He pretty much, when they asked him to basically guarantee translate that to the answer so what, are you going to be wanting to come back to this football club? They basically got that one answer when he turned around to TalkSport people and said, well, the one question we wanted an answer for, we got. You did want to you basically said one day you want to return to Tottenham Hotspur. He didn't even question them saying that as the answer. He basically just nodded. You can tell Poch loves his football club. Yeah? He said from the moment he left, he automatically thought about how he wanted the ending to be for his next time he comes back to the football club as a manager. You can tell with the one club he's basically got that proper connection to. So if he's going to come back to club football management again, yeah, after leaving national football, it's going to be a Spurs.
I was going to say, do you think Poch is regularly in contact with Daniel Levy?
Define regularly. I mean, I'm sure they
Not
talk.
regularly, but they've definitely got a very good friendship outside of football, not even when they're managing.
There's a line of communication there. If Poch wants to get a hold of him, he can, and not everybody can get a hold of Daniel Levy. You know, that's not a thing everybody can do.
Poch is the one manager who managed to get a bit at Levy's heartstrings a little bit. He managed to get the emotional side out of Levy a little bit, yeah. And it's like one manager
out of the robot,
really close connection to. That's why I feel like a lot of Spurs fans were so pissed off with Daniel Levy, yeah, when he turned around and screwed Pochettino over like this in 2019 and left him in the lurch like that, yeah, and left him basically no players. And he thought the one guy you're going to do it to is the one guy, yeah, who basically saved you for 4 or 5 years. That's why a lot of Spurs fans really, really turned on Daniel Levy from 2018, 2019 because of the way he treated Poch. See what I'm saying?
Definitely.
If you're going to treat one manager like that, yeah, don't be it like Pochettino, the one manager who cried his eyes up when he got us to a Champions League final, yeah, and literally put his heart and soul into that team to get us to a Champions League final that signing no players that season. I mean, that guy worked miracles sometimes in this football club, yeah, and then they just basically they done him over in the end, yeah, and I think that's what a lot of Spurs fans have this like resentment, yeah, for Daniel Levy. No matter what Daniel Levy does, yeah, because of the way he treated Poch, he will never get forgiven. That's why I understand that. I've not wanted Levy here since the moment he sacked Joel. That was what? I was like 17 when that happened, yeah? It's now happened in the middle of half time, but there's certain things that is Pochettino too scarred to come back? Does he feel this is the right time? Pochettino's a fan, obviously, at Tottenham, yeah? He's got to be a fan. He knows what's going on at the football club, yeah? Do you think he'd look at him, I want to come back into this situation as well?
He might think he's the man to change everything back and to get us back on track, and that would make him look so good. But guys, it's 2 minutes until Jose's show starts, and I don't know if we can both use the StreamYard account at the same time. So I want to make sure that we get off here so that Jose can do his show that he had planned. Since we have the same StreamYard account, so I'm going to have to end, unfortunately. But and I also have to pee like crazy. I had 2 energy drinks during the show, which was a mistake. But yeah, guys, we can stay in the back room and chill if you want. So we'll end this. And I just want to say to everybody tuned in, thank you so much. Jamie, I'm glad you're back, buddy.
Good to see you back, Jamie, man. And Colin as well. Good to see both of you back.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had a lot going on, but I'll talk to you guys in the back room.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, and of course me as well. And I can't wait to speak with you both. And to everyone that's tuned in, thank you so much. We'll be doing this a lot more regularly. That's a hard word for me to say. But we'll be doing more regular shows. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you see some Nashville content and you're not into that, Nashville SC MLS content, just ignore it. Don't feel like you got to unsubscribe because there might be some MLS content coming. But glad to have everybody here. Consider grabbing a membership. We got those back. So if you want to become a member, that's always a thing. And I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you both. And Dan, of course. And any final words, parting words? Anybody?
I'm on these Spurs.
Colin looks gorgeous. There we go.
Oh,
can't think of anything.
Thank you. You're a good friend. All right, guys. But again, everybody, thank you so much, and we will see you soon. Oh, I got to make sure this outro doesn't play. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.